Fox News.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
No arguments about our weather this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, windy and mild, 72. Tonight the clouds take over, windy, 60s for evening plans. A couple of scattered showers late tonight, 52. Wednesday, partly sunny, but some scattered afternoon showers, maybe a rumble of thunder in 75. Looking for an uptick in scattered showers and thunderstorms Thursday into Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Proper insulation in your home or business can save you money every month. The insulation experts at Koala Insulation of Gateway West in Metro East Illinois deliver efficiency and improved comfort. Big or small, Koala has you covered. Call or text Koala Insulation of Gateway West in Metro East Illinois at 314-756-5661 and find them on Facebook or check out the reviews at koalainsulation.com/gateway-west.
Does your bathroom feel old and outdated? Are you dreaming of a bathroom makeover but think it's too expensive and time-consuming? Then it's time to call 1-800-REMODEL and give your bathroom a beautiful new look in just days without having to make your first payment for up to 18 months. When you call 1-800-REMODEL, you'll be connected to a top pre-screened certified bathroom remodeling professional who specializes in beautifying bathrooms quickly and affordably. We've helped tens of thousands of homeowners looking to upgrade their homes, and we can help you turn that old space into a showplace. With mortgage rates so high, now is not the best time to sell your home. So, enjoy living in it with an upgraded bathroom and make your home more valuable at the same time. Why wait? Give your bathroom a beautiful, clean, new look in as little as 3 days with no payment for up to 18 months. Enjoy now, pay later. Call 1-800-REMODEL now. That's 1-800-REMODEL. Financing subject to qualification.
And paid for by America First Tax Group. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you. But you must call 800-212-5471 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-212-5471. That's 800-212-5471. Again, 800-212-5471.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I want
I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is anchor man, not anchor lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It is Tuesday. I'm happy to be here. It's Tuesday, right? It's Thursday. You're killing me. I get panicky on the very beginning of the show. I'm like, oh man, it's Thursday already. We've been watching this morning. It's kind of an upside down way to prepare for a show when you have something that looks like her testimony hearing taking place in Congress. And by her, I mean the person who put together the well-intentioned, sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory report that said, yeah, we're not going to prosecute Joe Biden for having these classified documents. That hearing is taking place this morning, and we want to bring you some of the fiery moments that have come from this hearing, this testimony, with kind of a truncated version of it. So the YouTube live chat poll for today is, if you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, you can watch along with this stuff that we're going to air here in a second, but also you can vote. Is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory? Yes or no? We need to know what you think because that's really kind of the subject matter of the day. When you listen to her's testimony and you hear about him being ready for the report to testify on this report, he's talking about the idea that he did not exonerate Joe Biden, but he did not feel as though it was ripe for prosecution. Let's listen to Jim Jordan.
Mr. Hur, why did he do it? Why did Joe Biden, in your words, willfully retain and disclose classified materials? I mean, he knew the law. Been in office like 50 years. 5 decades in the United States Senate, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, 8 years as vice president. He got briefed every day as vice president. He's been in the Situation Room. In fact, you know he knew the rules because you said so on page 226. President Biden was deeply familiar with the measures taken to safeguard classified documents. And Joe Biden told us he knew the rules. Mr. Armstrong said this earlier. Joe Biden was deeply familiar with it. You're exactly right, because he told us when Jack Smith goes after President Trump, Joe Biden says, how could this happen? What data was in those documents that could compromise sources and methods? It's irresponsible. So Joe Biden knew the rules. You know he knew the rules. And Joe Biden told us he knew the rules. So, Mr. Hur, why did he break them?
Congressman, the conclusion as to exactly why the president did what he did is not one that we explicitly address in the report. The report explains my decision to the Attorney General that no criminal charges were warranted in this manner.
I think you did tell us. I think you told us, Mr. Hur. Page 231, you said this. President Biden had strong motivations. That's a key word. We're getting to motive now. President Biden had strong motivations to ignore the proper procedures for safeguarding the classified information in his notebooks. Why did he have strong motivations? Because, next word, because he decided months before leaving office to write a book. To write a book, that was his motive. He knew the rules, he broke them because he was writing a book. And you further say, and he began meeting with the ghostwriter while he was still vice president. There's the motive. Mr. Hur, how much did President Biden get paid for his book?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure if that information appears in the report.
It sure does. There's a dollar amount in there. You remember?
I don't. It may be $8 million. If that's
$8 million. Joe Biden had 8 million reasons to break the rules. Took classified information and shared it with the guy who was writing the book.
So Jim Jordan is questioning Special Counsel Robert Hur on his report that he put together. The very interesting thing, in my opinion, that I've been listening to all morning regarding this testimony is that Robert Hur is in a very interesting situation. A lot of times these people come in to a congressional testimony, and what ends up happening is, you know, it might be as simple as Hur said, there's nothing to see here. We're not going to prosecute Joe Biden. Move along. except for the fact that the conclusion that Robert Hur came to was that he didn't believe that the case that would be made against Joe Biden in court would supersede the jury's perception of a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. Essentially, he's saying that the state of mind and the state of presentation that Joe Biden would have on a jury, or to a jury, which, from what I understand, this would all take place after he were to leave office, that if they were to prosecute that for him, the jury would feel sorry for this elderly man and choose not to prosecute. Therefore, it would be a waste of taxpayer dollars, effort, time, everything. Who do we have next? I was listening to this morning, and I'm like, Brad, we need this one. We need this one. We need this one.
The next one will be Matt Gaetz.
Okay. Buckle up, Buttercup. Let's listen in. Matt Gaetz ended up going through and asking the line of questions. And they go do, this is just like any normal hearing. They do Republican, they do Democrat, they do Republican, they do Democrat. When Jamie Raskin was asking the line of question, as you can imagine, a lot of it ends up landing squarely on Donald Trump. A lot of it ends up being a situation where it's like, okay, Joe Biden did this, but Donald Trump did that. And then they move on from there. The point for the Democrats is, and this is not unusual to any specific hearing, the point is the Democrats need to consistently make 1 point. The Republicans need to consistently make 1 point. Let's listen to Special Counsel Hur's opening statement.
There has been a lot of attention paid to language in the report about the president's memory, so let me say a few words about that. My task was to determine whether the president retained or disclosed national defense information willfully. That means knowingly and with the intent to do something the law forbids. I could not make that determination without assessing the president's state of mind. For that reason, I had to consider the president's memory and overall mental state and how a jury likely would perceive his memory and mental state in a criminal trial. These are the types of issues that prosecutors analyze every day. And because these issues were important to my ultimate decision, I had to include a discussion of them in my report to the Attorney General.
So Robert Hur making the case that what the Democrats were regularly saying is that Robert Hur was out there to get Joe Biden, that this was a political move and decision, an active choice to put those words of Joe Biden being a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, to install those words into this report for political gain. In the meantime, we know that the end of the report, the conclusion of the report, is not to prosecute Joe Biden. So there's something for each side here to kind of harp on. And Hur, in my estimation, has been very professional and very well-intended in the way that he's responded and stuck to the purpose of his appearance there in front of Congress. And then, of course, you enter a guy like Matt Gaetz, and Matt Gaetz does Matt Gaetz kind of things. And let's listen in and hear what he has to say.
February 8th, the White House. Question, Mr. President, why did you share classified information with your ghostwriter? The President, I did not share classified information. I did not share it. I guarantee I did not. That's not true, is it, Mr. Hur?
That is inconsistent with the findings based on the evidence in my report.
Yes, it's a lie. It's just what regular people would say, right? Yeah, all right. So the next one. And all the stuff that was in my home was in filing cabinets that were either locked or able to be locked. That wasn't true either, was it?
That was inconsistent with the findings of our investigation.
Another lie, people might say, right? Because what you put in your report was among the places Mr. Biden's lawyers found classified documents in the garage was a damaged open box. So here's what I'm understanding, right? As Mr. Armstrong laid out, you find in your report that the elements of a federal criminal violation are met, but then you apply this senile cooperator theory that because Joe Biden cooperated and the elevator doesn't go to the top floor, you don't think you get a conviction. And I actually think you get to the right answer in that. I don't think Biden should have been charged. Don't think Trump should have been charged. But under the senile cooperator theory, isn't it frustrating that Biden continues to go out and lie about the basic facts of the report that lay out a federal criminal violation?
Congressman, I need to disagree with at least one thing that you said, which is that I found that all of the elements were met. One of the elements of the relevant mishandling statute is the intent element, and what my report reflects is my judgment that based on the evidence, I would not be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury that that intent element had been
Right,
met.
but the reason you have that doubt is the senile cooperator theory. The fact that Joe Biden is so inept in responding that you can't prove the intent, which again, I don't quibble with that conclusion, but it's frustrating to be like, oh, well, this guy's not getting treated the same way as Trump because the elevator's not going to the top floor, so we can't prove intent. While at the same time, Biden goes out there at the White House and says, well, you know, he just blatantly lies. And what I'm trying to figure out is whether or not Biden's lying because he's still so senile, he hasn't read your report, or whether it's a little craftier and a little more devious and perhaps a little more intentional than we might otherwise think. So I also want to go to this Biden Penn Center. Like, did it give concern to you that the Biden Penn Center, where all this classified stuff was being mishandled, was being floated by foreign governments?
Congressman, we were concerned with getting to the bottom of all of the classified documents that were recovered during the course of our...
Yeah, but what bothers me is that the money that was paying for the place where the documents were being inappropriately held, it was the Chinese and it was other foreign countries. Did that play into your analysis? Did you look into the $1 billion in foreign funding sources at the Biden Center at UPenn, for example?
Congressman, we conducted a thorough, impartial, and fair investigation, and we were very, very concerned with getting to the bottom of all the relevant questions relating to the recovered documents.
Did you look into the fact that the Chinese were floating the place where this guy was keeping the documents unsecure? Yes or no?
Congressman, to the extent that we identified evidence that was relevant and significant to our investigation, we put it in our report.
Okay, well, it seemed relevant to me, maybe not to you. Another thing that seemed relevant to me is this ghostwriter, right? So the ghostwriter purposefully deletes this evidence that seems to be like show culpability of Biden's crimes, and you don't charge him. Why did you not charge the ghostwriter with obstructing justice and deleting evidence?
Well, for a number of reasons that are laid out in the report, but in brief, Congressman, yes, when we interviewed the ghostwriter, he did tell us, and I'm trying to get the exact language, that one of the things on his mind, one of the things he was aware of, was that I had been appointed special counsel and was conducting an investigation.
Right, so he didn't, just so everybody knows, the ghostwriter didn't delete the recordings just as a matter of happenstance. Ghostwriter has recordings of Biden making admissions of crimes. He then learns that you've been appointed. He then deletes the information that is the evidence, and you don't charge him.
That is reflected in the report, and one of the reasons...
Like, what does somebody have to do to get charged with obstruction of justice by you? If like deleting the evidence of crimes doesn't count, what would meet the standard?
So, Congressman, as we state in the relevant chapter of the report, one of the things that Mr. Zwanitzer did not delete was transcripts of the recordings that he had created that included inculpatory evidence relating to Mr. Biden.
Oh, so if you destroy some evidence but not other evidence, that somehow absolves you of the evidence you destroy? Like, here's what I see. Zwanniger should have been charged, wasn't. Biden and Trump should have been treated equally. They weren't. And that is the double standard that I think a lot of Americans are concerned about.
Congressman Matt Gaetz, I thought, doing a very impassioned, emotional, typical Matt Gaetz presentation there, line of questioning. I thought he did a good job. We are going to get to Darrell Issa, who gives the opposite Republican approach, I will say. What Matt Gaetz was doing, it's a bit performative, but they're all performative, let's be honest. They're Congress people. And he's trying to kind of get the sensationalism. The line that made me laugh out loud when I was watching this morning is talking about how Joe Biden's elevator doesn't necessarily go to the top floor. We get the point, Matt Gaetz. I think you made the point very well. And then Darrell Issa came in and gave a much more kind of a not too high, not too low, fact-based line of questioning. We're going to get to that next, but we're going to take a quick break because when we come back, we're going to speak with Zach Smith with the Heritage Foundation and get his reaction to what he's heard throughout the testimony that has taken place this morning. Anything that he sees that he wants to pick out and highlight for us, and we'll continue to cover it here. I'm excited about this line of questioning. I don't think that there's an ultimate conclusion that comes out of this. I think it is what it is. Joe Biden's not going to be prosecuted for this. I don't know that I even think Joe Biden should be prosecuted for this. Maybe. But what you and I are most likely interested in is equal justice. That no one is above the law, no one is below the law. Let's apply that to both political parties. Don't you think? Zach Smith with the Heritage Foundation when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
You know the one
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
No change, I can change, I can change, I can change. But I'm here in my mode. I am here in my mode. But I'm a million different people from one day to the next. I can't change my mode. No, 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 no.
Window World online at windowworld.com. Your replacement windows are a click at windowworld.com or a phone call at 314-993-1800 away. You are looking at the windows in your home. You know that the energy is seeping in and out of those windows. They're not doing the job any longer. They look old, they look dated, and they are no longer functional the way they need to be. You need replacement windows, but you don't want to fork over a whole bunch of money that you don't have to get some sort of high-end window that's just overpriced when you can get perfectly suitable, beautiful, energy-efficient windows for less. That's what Window World says. They're simply the best for less. And when you reach out to them and you talk to them about how they can show you how strong their windows are, how durable and how energy efficient and beautiful their windows are, you're going to understand why so many St. Louisans on both sides of the river go to Window World for their replacement windows. 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. Reach out to Window World. Tell them Annie Fry sent you and start the conversation today. Remember that lifetime warranty covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. 314-993-1800. windowworld.com.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Getting in your comfort zone with a new HVAC system is more affordable than you think, thanks to 0% financing for up to 72 months. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Reardon Fish Fries continue. Join me and the crew at the American Legion Post 400 in Fenton this Friday. We're broadcasting live from 3 to 6 p.m. Details at 971talk.com/events. It's Fish Fry Fridays on The Mark Reardon Show. Hope to see you in Fenton.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
She was more like a beauty queen from the movie scene. Said, don't mind, what do you mean? I am the one that'll dance on the floor in the round. She told me her name was Billie Jean. She caused a scene. And every head turned with eyes that dreamed of being the one who danced.
The very guy who was helping Joe Biden get the $8 million, Joe Biden had used the motive for Joe Biden to disclose classified information, to retain classified information, which he definitely knew was against the law. When you get named special counsel, what's that guy do? He destroys the evidence. That's the key takeaway in my mind. That's the key takeaway. I yield back.
There you have Jim Jordan. Today, right now, this testimony is still going on, and we're happy to be covering it here. Talking to Robert Hur, the special counsel looking into Joe Biden's retention of classified information. There's nothing that we know more than that Joe Biden is an A-plus student on complying with law enforcement after he's been found with decades of classified documents that date back to even when he was a senator. But don't you forget, he was very compliant when he got in trouble. That's kind of the takeaway here. It's like if my kid goes and swipes $50 out of my wallet and I go get me the $50 you stole from me. And he's like, okay. And they come back and give me, I'm not like, you are like my greatest favorite child. You're so good. That's not the way that works. It's obscene. We're watching the testimony as it comes in, but we wanted to get a legal expert on here to talk to us about it. And we got Zach Smith. We're excited to speak to Zach with the Heritage Foundation, the Senior Legal Fellow and Manager, Supreme Court and Appellate Advocacy Program. Zach, thank you for being here with us today. How much of this testimony have you been able to take in?
Well, I've been watching bits and pieces throughout the morning, Annie. And look, I don't think there's been anything particularly shocking that has come out from Robert Hur's testimony. But it has been very interesting to watch the way in which the Democrats on the Judiciary Committee have tried to spin what was in the report. It seems like they can't quite decide if Joe Biden, as you said, deserves a pass because he complied quickly with the special counsel's request to examine the documents, which, by the way, Robert Hur admitted during this testimony today they found classified documents at multiple locations that Joe Biden had retained, or whether he deserves a pass because his memory isn't great. And so it's, a fascinating hearing in some ways, a very troubling one in a lot of ways as well. But so far, I don't think there have been any particular bombshells that have come out of it.
Yeah, I would agree. I was kind of opening the show with each side here on the dais, the Republicans and the Democrats have something to nibble at repeatedly. The idea that the Hur report says we're not going to prosecute Joe Biden. That's great for the Democrats. On the Republican side, they have also determined that Joe Biden is a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, and they are leaning into the idea that what you were saying is Hur did not say that there was nothing wrong done. He just said he didn't think, is my understanding, that he couldn't get a conviction with the jury because of the state that Joe Biden is in. Am I misinterpreting any of that?
No, that's exactly right, Annie. What I did think was unfortunate, I think we've seen some Democratic members of the Judiciary Committee, Hank Johnson in particular, was taking very pointed shots at Robert Hur, essentially accused him of engaging in partisan hackery, said he was, essentially vying for an appointment in a future Republican administration. There was a very interesting back and forth about whether Robert Hur was a member of the Federalist Society, whether he's ever been one or is now one. He said he's not. Although he did say, as everyone knew, he is a registered Republican. But look, I think because there's not a lot for Democratic members to hang their hat on based on the contents of this report, they are unfortunately resorting to personal attacks on Robert Hur.
We're speaking with Senior Legal Fellow Zach Smith from the Heritage Foundation. The word exonerate comes up. I think it was it Jayapal? It was Jayapal.
That's
Yeah.
right.
She
That's right.
went into this line of questioning, and she kind of asks him something and then cuts him off mid-answer, and then goes on to talk about how his report absolutely exonerated Joe Biden. Her comes back and tries to clarify and say, no, I didn't. She wouldn't let him speak. They talked over each other for an uncomfortable amount of time. Where does exoneration, where does that word fit into her report and his testimony today?
Well, that word never appears in Robert Hur's report. I think he made that point repeatedly throughout the day, not only as, Jayapal tried to make that point, but others on the committee did as well. He said, look, my report did not exonerate Joe Biden. I did not use that word. What the report did, it laid out the rationale for choosing not to move forward with charging him, laid out the facts of what he found. There are several interesting follow-ups to that line of questioning as well. But I think it was very clear that Robert Hur said that his report did not exonerate Joe Biden, and it wasn't intended to do that. But look, I think throughout the morning from Democratic members of the committee particularly, we've seen attempts to issue gotcha questions to Robert Hur essentially, where they'll make an outlandish statement, say correct, or isn't that right? Kind of like they think they're in an old Perry Mason movie. Or something to that effect. But so far, he's done very well on the stand, stuck essentially to the contents of his report, which is what he said he would do. And again, I don't think there have been any particular bombshells that have come out of this hearing so far.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's been interesting to watch, and I thought that Robert Hur has done a really good job of maintaining composure to sit there. And I guess if you're the witness. And you're testifying on behalf of a report that you wrote, that you have to go in there and kind of anticipate, all right, this is the slings and arrows I'm going to get from this side. This is what I'm going to get from the other side. Do you feel as though the Biden investigation into his classified documents case is of interest as a standalone piece of news in this cycle, or is the main thing that's making it relevant how this same Justice Department is handling Donald Trump?
Well, I think it should be interesting as a standalone piece of the news cycle. Look, we heard a lot about Donald Trump and his retention of classified documents, and I certainly think that is a major reason why it's of interest, kind of this, dual differing treatment of Joe Biden and Donald Trump. But certainly Joe Biden, what he had in terms of classified documents, the scope of it, the breadth of it, the varying locations, unsecured locations where he kept that classified information, that in and of itself should be interesting to the American people. And what also came out several times during the hearing today, and what was in the report as well, is it came out that Joe Biden was sharing information related to these classified documents with his ghostwriter, a ghostwriter for his book, who did not have authorization to hear information related to those classified documents. And so I think this should be troubling to anyone who cares about the rule of law, but is particularly troubling in light of the double standard of justice that appears to be applied to Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
We're speaking with legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Zach Smith. The Donald Trump contingent, it's a high point of interest for the Democrats, asking questions of Robert Hur on a report that he didn't write or investigate specifically. He was there for the Joe Biden portion of the classified documents concerns that Americans should have about what our leaders are doing with the information they're privy to once they leave office. How apples to apples are the cases of Joe Biden's classified documents and Donald Trump's? Because I see a lot of Democrats suggesting that what Donald Trump has done, especially with his lack of cooperation, which leads me to believe why they're so like gold star Joe Biden was very cooperative. What is the comparison between the Biden documents case and the Trump documents case, or is there no comparison?
Well, look, I think you hit the nail on the head. Democrats are certainly trying to tee this up as saying that Joe Biden, even if he retained classified documents, he didn't do so willfully. It was inadvertent, really no harm, no foul. Whereas they say Donald Trump, potentially endangered national secrets, was reckless, tried to obstruct the investigation, all of those types of things. But I think it's a distinction many people find very dissatisfying, particularly when you consider kind of the deference that was given to Joe Biden by the Justice Department in the lead up to this investigation, when you consider, again, the scope of the documents, when you consider the scattered locations where he kept the documents, there's actually an interesting exchange between one of the Republican members of the committee and Robert Hur, where the member actually went through all of the locations where classified documents were found, and it was astounding. There were various locations. There were various locations within Joe Biden's home. And so it really is very troubling that if we're going to say this type of behavior shouldn't be tolerated, this type of behavior should result in criminal prosecution, as it did with Donald Trump, then why isn't that happening here with Joe Biden? And I think, again, the Democrats do find themselves in somewhat difficult position because it certainly seems like if you're going to charge Donald Trump, you would also have to charge Joe Biden unless he's too mentally infirm to be able to really stand trial in a competent fashion. And if that's the case, that is much, much more troubling and much more dangerous for Joe Biden politically in some respects, I would think.
Yeah. Zach Smith speaking with us right now. Does it matter that the documents that Joe Biden had retained were from when he was a senator and a vice president as opposed to president? Is that a point of interest?
It is. And I think it's a point of interest because, if you keep in mind when the Donald Trump documents issue first came to light, one of the main issues was a factual one, whether or not Donald Trump had actually declassified these documents before he left office, because the president has the authority to declassify documents. Well, if Joe Biden kept documents from the time when he was a senator or when he was vice president, it's undisputed that a senator or vice president does not have that same unilateral authority to declassify documents. And so that factual question really isn't even on the table with respect to these Joe Biden documents. And yet it's a point that hasn't come up a lot so far in the hearing. But I think it is one that we may hear more about in the future if we don't hear a lot about it today.
Last question for you. Speaking with the Heritage Foundation legal expert, Zach Smith, I am curious about your thoughts on the news where they were reporting or discussing it in this hearing today about the White House's inquiry on changes to the draft that they were provided from Robert Hur, his office, before it was released to the public, and the efforts that the White House made to try to get Hur to remove the I have to read this to get it right. Sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory line, saying that it wasn't necessary to include. Is that standard practice for the White House to say something like, you should take that line out?
Well, I think politically it's certainly understandable, again, why the White House would want that to happen. Look, Robert Hur made an interesting point today. Under DOJ regulations, a special counsel's report is actually supposed to be confidential going to the attorney general. And so this idea that somehow he was doing this for partisan political purposes, that he was trying to, do a political hit job on Joe Biden, I think that undercuts that to some extent. Robert Hur said, the fact that the attorney general has chosen to release substantial portions of the last several special counsel's reports does not undercut the idea that centrally the job of the special counsel is to prepare a report, provide advice to the attorney general, and make charging recommendations to the attorney general. And he said that's exactly what he did here in this case.
Zach, thank you for giving us some of your time this afternoon to break down what we've heard so far. We're going to continue to monitor this hearing throughout the day, but your expertise and a little bit of analysis is very much needed. We're grateful for it.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thank you, Zach Smith, the legal expert from the Heritage Foundation. Always good to partner up with him to get the lowdown on what's taking place, especially at a last minute like that. So we are grateful for Zach's time. I am eating this up. I like anything. I don't like to listen to hearings when it's an obvious slam dunk for one side. And I don't even care if it's just like, I'm not a misery needs company person so much that I need to listen to someone where they're going to absolutely eviscerate a witness over and over and over again. For my side, I want to hear the ins and outs of it. I want to get to the truth of the matter. And this has been a very interesting one because both sides have something to try to pull out of the Hur report. And I think Robert Hur has done a really good job of answering questions and sticking to his guns, so to speak, in his testimony on his report. We're going to get a little bit more coverage of that. I'm going to play a couple more of the clips for you guys. They're Isa, and who else is it? Who else was the one?
We've got
Schiff.
Isa and Adam Schiff.
I don't even know if I should tell you that I'm going to play that on the air because then you'll leave.
Oh, but you want to hear
You need
it.
to be here.
You want to hear it.
I need you to be here. Don't leave me. If I have to do this, this is the Misery Loves Company. Please don't go. Please stay here, and we'll continue to cover it and get you a little bit of both sides. There's some people listening right now, and they listen every day, and they hate listen every day, so I'm going to throw them an Adam Schiff in the 1 o'clock hour. It's just for you. You know who I'm talking about. Your time is coming. The rest of you, please stay with me. I need your support. Adam Schiff on the way. We're going to do Wiggins America, though. A nice little palate cleanser. What's he telling us? 5 phrases that prove your relationship is stronger than most, according to CNBC. What a nice palate cleanser. We'll be right back.
Claims that I am cool.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
For 40 days and 40 nights, well, I was on her side. But who can stand while she's in demand of schemes and her plane?
Michael's Flooring Outlet. You find them online at igotfloor.com. Michael's Flooring Outlet has a place you can go online and you can request an estimate just like that. You go onto the website and you put in your information and you can get your idea of what your budget needs to be right there. Simple to do, a couple clicks, and you are in. They have everything that you need when it comes to flooring: carpet, hardwood, stone, waterproof flooring, carpeting, tile if you're looking for something maybe in a basement where there's a lot of fun happening. Maybe drinks are being poured or kids are playing or pets are playing. Everybody understands the benefit of carpet tile. You don't have to replace the whole thing. If something gets ruined, you just replace the tiles that are affected. They have everything you need residentially and commercially at Michael's Flooring Outlet. And when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're shopping local. And that is a really important part of the Michael's Flooring Outlet family-owned and operated business story. They are built from the ground up, and Michael's Flooring Outlet makes sure that you are satisfied as a customer when you leave. You are going to have the opportunity to have your budget respected, value invested in, and quality not sacrificed. Reach out to Michael's Flooring Outlet and start your flooring shopping today. You can find them online right now by visiting igotfloor.com.
Mark Cox, join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group. They're holding their next Protecting Your Retirement educational event Tuesday, March 26th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned about market volatility that's likely to occur as we get closer to the election? Would you like to know why linking to the market is smarter and safer than owning the market? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any losses and provide more income than your current plan? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, March 26th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you're a vehicle mechanic, this 314 day, let Metro Transit fix you up with a $5,000 bonus. Come to our first ever Thursday night mechanics hiring event this 314 at our Brentwood Boulevard Metro bus facility from 6 to 9 p.m. The work at MetroSTL.com hiring team will be there to talk careers with mechanics ready for better pay, real benefits, plus a tool allowance to go along with that $5K hiring bonus.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-293-8030. That's 800-293-8030. 800-293-8030.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
We're giving away Kenny Chesney tickets again today in the 2 o'clock hour, so tune in for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Kenny Chesney at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. In the meantime, is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory? Yes or no? Simple yes or no question. Let us know. That's the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day. It is 12:46. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Mark Cox here. Join me and keynote speaker Senator Josh Hawley Friday, March 22nd for the 2024 St. Charles County Lincoln Day Dinner. We'll have drinks, dinner, and thought-provoking discussions. Tickets are on sale now. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We are asking you today on the YouTube live chat poll, in light of the Robert Hur testimony taking place in Congress right now. We've covered it so far this show, and we're covering it throughout the rest of the show as stuff happens, and it's kind of funny to watch. Our YouTube live chat poll today, though, is a very important, very consequential question going into a election season, campaign season. We have presumptive nominees. We need to know what you think. Is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory? Jack says Joe Biden is a pathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. He is also a liar and doesn't realize what his, quote, well-meaning, end of quote, actions are actually doing to this country. Angry barfing face.
Tell
So
us
that
how you
might
really
be,
feel.
that would probably be a no on the poll question.
He didn't say, though.
He didn't. I mean, he said he was some things, but he didn't qualify it. So he'll have to throw his vote in there. We need to know what you think. And you leave your comments. We've got Leah watching the comments throughout the course of the show and setting them aside. And I will feature your comment on the show when I get to it. So, yeah, let us know.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Well, I don't know if you guys know this. If you listen to the Annie Fry Show, I would be considered probably like the relationship coach of the show.
What do you mean they're listening right now?
I mean, if you listen regularly, not just like you're tuning in once in a while.
For the, what would you say, newcomers?
Yeah, the newcomers. The undocumented listeners.
The undocumented Camel X listeners.
Yes. So, if you're just kind of dabbling, you're dipping a toe in the water, that's what I do off air.
You dabble in the show, too.
Yeah. I kind of come in, come out.
That's how I would.
I mean, this is a self-ascribed title, but...
Yes, self-ascribed relationship guru of the Annie Fry Show. So I want to help you guys out a little bit by bringing you the 5 phrases that mean you have a stronger relationship than most people do.
So we're talking about our marriages.
You're talking about your marriages
And
or
Leah's
dating
gonna
relationships.
Judge our marriages.
Yes.
Leah's going to be like, from my perspective, I don't know.
As is Leah's role outside of the airtime of the show.
Keep us in line.
Yes. So the first one.
Keep us humble.
And the question, of course, being, do you use this phrase? Or if you don't, why not? What's wrong with you? Number 1, thank you.
Yes.
Do you often say thank you in your marriage?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is it natural? Did you have to train yourself to do that?
No, I didn't have to train myself. I was trained.
Okay. What kind of things?
Well, I want to know more about that.
What kind of things are you saying?
I want to know more.
Thank you for.
You're not being trained. You're being trained. You just haven't seen that you're being trained.
Hey, don't tell him. Don't ruin Mrs.
I mean,
Wiggins'
Jeff Foxworthy
game.
pointed this whole thing out. He said he said he was sitting on the couch next to his wife and she shivered. He said, I got up and went over and flipped the fan off. And it was at that moment I realized, oh, she's been training me.
Oh.
I'm not supposed to know that. I'm just supposed to be
You'll
trained.
forget it in 10 minutes anyway.
That's true.
Would you say that my best friend is training you?
In some ways, yes. I know for a fact that she is kind of like, will manipulate situations so that I will
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I suggest? Can I make just an observation for that? training is the nice way of doing it.
Yeah.
Because there is direct communication when the subtle, you just called it manipulation. That's one word for it, but it's not the nice word for it. Subtle training, guidance, urging in the specific direction. Would you prefer that, or would you prefer listen?
I do like it when she's overt about it sometimes, because I don't always catch on real quick. I know that she prays for me for like real stuff, but I don't always know what she's praying for, and that concerns me.
Because I'm a Christian woman and I completely respect what you just said there and agree with it, I'm not going to make all of the jokes that I want.
Thank you.
I want credit for passing.
Now, there are times that I know she's doing it because she'll slip into this voice and she'll go, Ryan. And I'll know that she's attempting to get me to do something for her.
Do you do
which
it?
is usually take her plate or her cup from her and either
You're
fill
just
it up or
keeping her
whatever.
from having to get up.
Yeah.
And
Whenever she doesn't want to get up,
Do
she
you do
uses
it?
that voice. Yeah, because it's kind of cute. So it works.
So she knows.
So it works. But to the word thank you, or the words thank you,
Now I know how to get him to do it. Ryan,
No,
would you please do Wiggins America?
no, if you do that, I'm going to be creeped out. Like, whoa, no.
You should have told
That's
us.
kind of an us thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll have Brad do it.
It's weird because you guys actually sound like her. I do say thank you, and I say thank you as often as I possibly can, but I do have to remind myself to do it. The next one is help me understand this. Is that a phrase you use in your marriage?
I think I've said something like that. If you will in a relationship just emphatically see things two completely different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And there's either I can bludgeon you with my viewpoint until you, let's just be honest, quit and give in. You're not going to see it from my perspective, but you will surrender. If it's something of great consequence, I will be like, explain it to me. What am I missing here? And it could be something that is emotional, like maybe the emotional reaction to something was different than intended or whatever. But I think I've said that, not frequently, but I think it's something I've said.
When I say it, it usually comes out more like, I don't get it. Help me understand.
Yeah, it's usually in the middle of, if not an argument, something that's a little tense.
Yeah, I think, ladies, your husband wants you to be happy. They want to make you happy.
Fact.
Yes. They're
Understand
Wait,
that.
But why?
But they're
because we love you.
And because it makes your life easier. That's the end
We're
game.
like, we're like a golden retriever, right? We look over, she's like, oh, she looks happy. I want to sit by her. And then she gets mad. And then we go into the other room and we just peek out every now and then just to see, happy? Nope, still angry. Gonna stay in here.
Doggone it if that's not really accurate. We are. We're like, how's she doing? Oh, good.
Let me
Everything's
ask you a
good.
question on behalf of the women. Are you the ones upsetting her?
Sometimes.
Yeah, once in a while.
So
once in a great while.
Yeah.
So-
Sometimes we chew up the new shoe. It's just
Sometimes women are irrationally upset. I could blame hormones for that, and we could go into the detail of science and biology, but we won't. So sometimes there is an irrational bad mood, but there are also times where you guys are just like, it's not Ryan, it's Ryan. Yes?
No, I don't really respond well to being yelled at.
No,
And just
I bet
go,
you I bet you she gives you the cold shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah. But we talk quite a bit. But
this is what results in. Did I do something wrong?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It does. Man, it's so uncomfortable. Number 3, I can forgive you. Can you forgive me?
Ooh, no, I don't like that.
Ooh, no. It's a weird one to lead with. I can forgive you.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've ever been in a place in my relationship where that has needed to be said like that.
What about asking for forgiveness?
Yeah. I mean, it is a very emphatic thing in our household with our kids. I do not, if my kids need to apologize for something, they need to say, I'm sorry. And we do not say it's okay. Because it's not okay to do wrong things. You do something wrong and someone says, I'm sorry. It's not okay. Don't do that thing again. It wouldn't be okay if you did it again. We say, I forgive you. Because I think forgiveness is the most powerful thing for the person giving the forgiveness and receiving the forgiveness.
Asking for forgiveness and or saying, sorry, I messed up or whatever.
That's kind of the same thing.
They're close.
If you're in a household like mine, If you were in a more secular household, which I understand and respect, you might want the secular forgiveness that is more than just the acknowledgement that someone else has regret.
Number 4, I am committed to you. Now, if that's not the phrase, consider the idea that you are affirming your commitment. I will say that early in our marriage, we vowed to never use the D word, divorce. If we ever got in an argument or anything, we would never, ever use that word, so that we were affirming our commitment to each other, even when things were really bad and hard.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I would consider my oath at the altar in the church to be the same commitment. I don't know that we've ever said that. There have been times where something has happened and maybe we have, I mean, I've been married since 2007, which is what, that many years? 14 years?
Me too. Same thing.
15 years, I don't know. How long have we been married? 17 years?
It's much more than 14.
17 years?
Yeah.
It seems like forever. No, I'm kidding. That's what he would say. He wouldn't say that because he's a good man. He'd be thinking it. There have been times where it's like we are fighting and we know like somebody messed up big and one of us has said, still mad, I'm not going anywhere. And then you like leave.
That's exactly what we're talking about here.
But I mean I could count on one hand how many times that's had to be said, that it's gotten that.
Yeah.
That the argument is, there are times, just don't go to bed angry. If somebody writes that on a napkin at your bridal shower, cute. Also, not realistic. You can't pretend to not be mad if you're mad. You have to do the thing and the work to get over the anger. And it's hard. And you have to understand, like you said, when you make that promise, this is the promise. You're going to be angry. You might be angry for a really long time, but you were together. And you made that promise, in our case, in front of God, that you can't break it. So if that means that you got to be angry for a week or a month, but leave the room going, I'm not going anywhere, then you do that and you keep working past it.
Yeah, and there's an aspect of forgiveness, too, where you can forgive somebody while still being angry. And then what that becomes is you dealing with your upset and your angerness, and you're not holding it over the other person the whole time. And that helps you move past these arguments. It's interesting that you guys agreed to never say it, because until you said it right there, I don't know that I've ever been in a fight with my wife where that thought even entered into my mind.
It doesn't really anymore, but I think at the
weird.
beginning
It's like,
we just determined.
Look, we just are upset.
Do you have another one?
There's one more.
Shelf it to 2. Let's talk more about it because there's more to discuss here. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have more guests. A national security expert on classified information. We'll talk to them coming up.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Day on Capitol Hill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. As a now former special counsel, Robert Hur takes criticism from both sides of the aisle after his recent report on the president's handling of classified documents, which did not recommend charges, but was critical of the president's memory.
Democrats are blasting her for blabbing about the president's bad memory, calling it a political hit job.
Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn on Capitol Hill.
Republicans not so happy that Hur decided not to recommend charges for Biden, even though Hur admitted today he he thinks at times Biden was dishonest, and that Hur says he has proof that both pride and money motivated the president to stash away these classified documents.
Hur says there wasn't enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt and that politics did not play any role in his report. A Texas law that would allow the state to arrest people suspected of crossing the border illegally is now on hold at least through Monday. The U.S. Supreme Court extending a stay while it considers a motion on enforcement filed by the Justice Department. The law carries jail time and requires deportations after convictions. The Biden administration arguing it's unconstitutional. Border security coming up for a second day at a hearing on worldwide threats.
We have seen over the last, I think, 5 years an increase in the number of KSTs, or known or suspected terrorists, attempting to cross the southern border.
FBI Director Christopher Wray says a wide array of dangerous threats emanate from the border. There have been an estimated 1.8 million gotaways since President Biden took office.
Yesterday, there were another 700 known gotaways across the southern border. Border officials have long said that these gotaways, folks who come across the border that we know nothing about, those are the individuals, the security issues that keep them up at night.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in Eagle Pass, Texas. A rally picking up steam on Wall Street. The Dow's now up 221. America's listening to Fox News.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
No arguments about our weather this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, windy and mild, 72. Tonight, the clouds take over, windy 60s for evening plans. A couple of scattered showers late tonight, 52. Wednesday, partly sunny, but some scattered afternoon showers, maybe a rumble of thunder in 75. Looking for an uptick in scattered showers and thunderstorms Thursday into Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Reardon Fish Fries continue. Join me and the crew at the American Legion Post 400 in Fenton this Friday. We're broadcasting live from 3 to 6 p.m. Details at 971talk.com/events. It's Fish Fry Fridays on the Mark Reardon Show. Hope to see you in Fenton.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9 million.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We got done speaking last hour with Zach Smith on the Robert Hur testimony taking place on Capitol Hill today. Very interesting stuff, and it's all surrounding the Joe Biden classified documents case and the Hur report that came out and said, nope, we're not going to prosecute. But it also said, why are we not going to prosecute? Because the jury would look at Joe Biden as a, quote, sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. That's our YouTube live chat poll for today. Is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory? Yes or no? I can't wait to find out what the results are to this question specifically today, because I think it is a good test on how the American people look at our current president. Maybe in the context of the classified documents, but what Robert Hur wrote in his report was essentially that a jury of Joe Biden's peers, while they were watching Joe Biden testify in this particular case, would view him as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory and therefore not result in a likely conviction. And if that's the way that a jury in a trial scenario would view Joe Biden, how do the American people view Joe Biden? Here's a statement from Joe Biden here recently. Listen to this.
And now, it's my goal to cut the federal debt even more by making big corporations and the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. I'm not anti-corporation. I represent the state of Delaware. More corporations incorporated in Delaware than every other state in America combined. But guess what? But I'm a capitalist, man. Make all the money you want. Just begin to pay your fair share of taxes.
Man, you could almost get a bingo just from that clip. That 28-second clip from President Biden. He just wants people to pay their fair share. That was one of the top messages that he delivered in the State of the Union, that corporations need to step up and pay their fair share. And if you see the breakdown of who pays what tax dollars in this country and the fair share conversation comes up, I have a few questions about that. A lot of people not paying in anything and taking out a lot. What is a fair share for corporations to pay? And who is the arbiter of that decision? Well, Joe Biden wants to be, and he's asking for 4 more years. Chris Cuomo was recently on the Patrick Bet-David podcast and said this about Trump.
This guy's going to win, by the way. This guy's going to win. I've never seen people behind someone like this before. I've never been to rallies like that before. For anyone. Obama didn't even have rallies like that.
I do think that, comparatively speaking, in 2020, I mean, Joe Biden didn't even come out of his basement. Then when he would have public events, they put their people who showed up in white circles on the ground because it was COVID. There was nothing to brag about there, and Donald Trump was still having rallies and people were showing up, and he didn't win in 2020. Chris Cuomo saying that these rallies are indicative of a victory in November. I feel like it's a smart move on Chris Cuomo to go on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, to be speaking in a way that isn't directly insulting and punitive to Donald Trump just because Donald Trump exists. If Cuomo wants to criticize Trump because he doesn't like his policies, I'm all for it. Go do your thing. We can discuss the merits of the policy and maybe just agree to disagree, or maybe see the other side for what it's worth a little bit more because the conversation was had. I wonder if the rallies are indicative to you of the support that Trump has compared to the Joe Biden support. There was a recent appearance where, I don't know, Brad, if you know where that one, there's a shot that is going around social media everywhere. Joe Biden was at an event. They had a big stage up, and the camera was off to, I guess it was to the left of the stage, and it pans over just a little bit, and then it comes back. I mean, the crowd wasn't, it definitely wasn't 10 people deep.
I think that was a Pennsylvania event.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
For Joe Biden.
Scranton Joe.
Yes. Pennsylvania, swing state with 20 electoral votes. I think the biggest of the swing states, maybe second to Georgia or maybe the most. You're supposed to be able to bring people out. People are not excited about Joe Biden. That doesn't mean they're not going to vote for him. People are excited about their hatred in a really weird way. Excited about their hatred for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's numbers, I think he's polling ahead of Joe Biden in pretty much all of the polls that are out there, but it's always within a hair. It's not a dominating margin of error, and we have to pull outside of the margin. And I'm very curious to determine what is considered outside the margin. What are the polling numbers that we need to see on a state-by-state level? And I'm talking about, the 6 swing states that are going to decide this election. Where does Joe Biden need to be, and where does Donald Trump need to be to show some success there? Because they're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Donald Trump. And they're going to play a lot of the same games that they've been playing for quite some time. Looking at realclearpolling.com right now, currently, Donald Trump is at 47.4%, and this is an aggregate of the key polls that RCP identifies. Trump is at 47.4%, Biden at 45.7%. There's a margin of error there that is in play, and then you know what the Democrats are good at doing, how they're good at cultivating votes leading up to the election. The Republicans need to be able to out-succeed what the Democrats are capable of doing leading up into the election. Here's what journalist Kara Swisher says that Joe Biden needs to do leading up to the election.
Then Biden has to get in there very hard and go rapist, racist, fascist over and over and over again. And then the trials are happening at the same time. He's just had to pay. He's just $93 million poorer right now. And just hammer it in with those 3 things: rapist, racist, fascist.
That's the plan from Kara Swisher, who is a journalist, and that she's saying this is what needs to be done. Are we prepared for it? Can Donald Trump beat that plan? Mark Lauder joins us right now. He's the Chief Communications Officer at America First Policy Institute. He knows a thing about campaigns and running the show, of course, and we're grateful that he is here with us on our show today. Mark, thanks for being with us.
It's great to be with you, Annie.
What do you think when you hear Kara Swisher say that part out loud? Racist, fascist, rapist. Just repeat that, put it on repeat. That's how Joe Biden wins.
Yeah, well, sadly, I mean, that's what they're going to do. It's not going to work, though. I mean, they've been leveling those charges for generations in terms of some of them. But here's the difference. I mean, people can look and see with their own eyes that prices are out of control. Gas prices are higher. The border's wide open. You got young college girls being murdered allegedly by illegal immigrants, and Joe Biden is apologizing to them for calling them illegal. Well, Donald Trump's hugging the family, the mom who lost her daughter, and the friends of that young lady. You can throw all the name calling you want. I think the American people on both sides really are just kind of tired of the name calling. Who's going to lower prices? Who's going to deal with the border? Who's going to end the wars around the world that have started under Joe Biden? And I think that's really what's going to drive the election.
Yeah. I'm a suburban, I'm 39 years old, got 4 kids, suburban white woman here, have a college degree. And it seems to be a really targeted demo for people to be persuaded one way or the other. And I can't help but think that Swisher here, her comments, just keep calling him a rapist and a racist and a fascist, and that'll make the difference. I feel like they're undercutting what women like myself are currently worried about and concerned about. The idea that I'm going to have the ability to make the decisions for my child that I want to make for them, that I'm going to be able to make the money I need to put food on the table for my kids, raise them in a safe neighborhood that might be the suburbs. All of these words here, it's such an insult to the voting blocks that are out there to think that, oh, we'll just hear that and go, you're right, we should vote for Joe Biden.
Well, they can't. So they can't argue policy. They can't argue results. And when you look at those words that they've used, they're losing support they're bleeding support from black voters, so hence racist, suburban women who are coming back because they don't like what's going around. They feel less safe. Their lives are less affordable. And so, again, rapist. And so literally those are just code words trying to trigger these voting blocks, which they're losing support on because of their policies. They can't argue that. So all they're going to do is name call and hope that that gets them where they need to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's a winning strategy either. We're speaking with Mark Lauder with the America First Policy Institute. He's our Chief Communications Officer. We do know that there's been a shakeup at the RNC. We've heard Laura Trump talking a lot about the Get Out the Vote effort. How do you feel the Republicans are poised to make sure that we can compete where the Democrats win when it comes to Election Day, which is the lead up to Election Day?
Well, I think there's two things. Number one, obviously I've got a lot of confidence in Laura and Michael Whatley. Chris LaCivita, who's coming in as the chief of staff. I mean, these are, especially Chris, these are the guys that know how to do this. They know how to do campaigns. They know how to organize. They know how to raise money. And so it's very positive. And I think it's great that they're cleaning house or at least trimming costs at the RNC so the money can be used where it's best focused. But let me tell you about the dirty secret about all this early voting stuff. Getting a voter, a Republican voter who's going to vote on Election Day, to mail in their ballot 6 weeks early doesn't change the end number.
Right.
What Democrats are the best at, and I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. If you can't get there or you want to make sure your vote's there in case a storm comes or something along those lines, by all means do it. But what Democrats do is they find people who aren't likely to vote on Election Day, and they drag them to the polls ahead of time. They get what are like low likely voters to vote early to run up their vote number. If we just take people who are going to vote Election Day, because Republicans generally like to vote on Election Day, and just move you to early voting, that doesn't change the bottom number, on whether you win or lose. So whether you vote early, you vote Election Day, the real message has got to be go find people who are sick and tired of those gas prices, grocery prices, the border, schools, whatever your issue is. Go find folks who think just like you, who may or may not vote, and get them to vote. Get them to vote early. Get them to vote on Election Day. Just get them to vote. That's how we go over the top and we win.
It sounds to me, Mark, that you're not just talking about what Whatley and Trump and the other individuals that you met, what they need to do. That to me sounds like something that if you're listening to the Annie Frey Show right now, that we need to do. That the people on the ground, the grassroots portion of success in November, that what you're saying is an ask that our listeners can participate in.
Oh, absolutely. Your listeners are way more important than me, than you even, Annie, although you're really important. You're way more important than either of us because you know those people in your communities, in your kids' schools, in your church, the folks that you see at the park or the dog park or wherever. You know the folks that you might be sitting around and complaining about the gas prices, complaining about the groceries, talking about the border. But when it comes to actually getting them to the polls, they either don't want to waste their time, don't think their vote counts, or just not that motivated. Well, this is where we've got to make sure we're motivated, and they trust you. They trust you as a person more than they trust someone on the radio or someone they see on television. You're a trusted source. You're a friend. You're a confidant. So you're way more important than anything that we can do. Trust me, we will advertise. We will make sure everybody knows where they can go to get their early ballot or where to go on Election Day. But actually getting them to commit to go, that's something that's got to be done at the human level, the person-to-person level, the neighbor level.
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree with everything you said there. What's the home base for people listening right now who want to get involved? People have time right now to just dabble on a website and see, okay, maybe I could do this or maybe I could do that. Maybe it's a get out the vote effort. Maybe it's just in general, okay, fine, I'm going to talk to my neighbor. I'm going to do it. We're going to talk over the fence posts and have this conversation. Where do you guide them to go do a little research before they engage in that conversation so they might have some of those answers about the actual action points that happen after that conversation?
Well, I know. Yeah, the RNC has been working on this bank your vote theme where you get your vote, get it in the bank. Get it in the bank early before, so we don't have to worry about it on Election Day. And so that's a great place for information. It'll also give you information about how to get an early ballot or an absentee ballot or a mail-in, however your state and locality handles each of those situations. That's great. And then obviously just stay engaged. I mean, so many people, when you look at the fact that 2/3 of the American people think our country's headed in the wrong direction. And when you look at people, when you go up and down the major issues that people are that's on their minds, and they're all going, I don't like what Joe Biden's doing. Well, there's only one way we can change that. And it's not just even with the president. We need it in the Senate. We need it in House races. We need it in governorships. We need it in state and local elected officials. Up and down the ballot, the only way we can truly change the direction of where we're going is to change the people who are doing it.
That's so true. Mark Lauder, last question for you. We go out, we have these conversations with the people in our lives that we care about more than politics even, which is why you have these conversations. And we get Donald Trump elected and Republicans down ballot elected in November. How quickly, especially with your work with the America First Policy Institute, do you feel like Americans can see some dividends be paid on their vote to try something different this November once Donald Trump is inaugurated back into the presidency?
I think it can happen pretty quickly. I mean, obviously, we can take action on the border as soon as that election's over, and as soon as he gets into office, we can start taking action on the border. But the other thing I'll show you too, between Election Day in 2020 and Inauguration Day in 2021, during that 10-week period or so, 9 or 10-week period, we saw the price of gas go up from below $2 a gallon to $2.39 a gallon. That was what it was when Joe Biden took office. And that was all because the energy companies knew what was coming. They knew that they were going to get the green raw deal shoved down their throats by Joe Biden and the radical left. And so they started raising their prices because they knew what was going to happen. If we send a strong message in November and reelect the president, send a Republican Senate, a Republican Congress back to Washington, D.C., they will see the other thing, that good times are coming again. We can actually drill, baby, drill and build new refineries, start exporting our natural gas, and they will start ramping up, and those prices will start to fall even before Donald Trump is able to get into office. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that's the number one contributor to the higher prices we have at the grocery store. Because whether it's coming from the farm or the factory to the warehouse to your house, it uses fuel.
Right.
It's on a boat, it's on a train, it's on a tractor, it's on a truck, in your car. It all requires fuel. And those higher prices are passed along to us at the checkout register.
That's such a great point. Well, looking forward to that new morning in America, certainly. And we all know what we need to do or what we need to have happen. But to your point, Mark Lauder, it's going to have to come from the human-to-human connection on the grassroots level to the very good listeners of this show. And we appreciate that roadmap for us. Thanks for being with us today. It's always great to have you.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right, bye-bye. Mark Lauder is the Chief Communications Officer at America First Policy Institute. He's also the former Director of Strategic Communications for the Trump-Pence 2020 ticket. Interesting conversation with him always, and grateful that he gave us the time today. When we come back, we're going to speak with Chris Farrell. Excited to have Chris on the show. He's the Director of Investigations and Research. He's a board member as well for Judicial Watch, and he knows a little bit about intelligence and the intelligence community. And we're going to talk to him about all of these classified documents that are being discussed about right now. What is the purpose and importance of protecting those documents, and who's entitled to see what and when? Chris Farrell talks to us when we come back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So Stewart's American Mortgage, Stewie's my friend, and I am a two-time customer of his. That's how I became his friend. The bagel loan, you only get the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage from Stewie. And you can do so by calling or texting 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Stewie is at the forefront of what's going on in the economic world. He understands the Fed. He knows how to make sure that you get the best deal at the time that you need that mortgage to be secured. He's your guy. And if you have Stewie in your corner, you're going to get the best deal that is available to you. Using the bagel loan, again, only available with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, Gets you zero closing cost, zero fees, all of those different things that get slapped on at closing, and they add up to thousands of dollars potentially. Those, you don't pay those when you work with Stewie. And you can only go to Stewie to get the bagel loan. So if you're in the market for a mortgage, he can do refinances as well. That's how I was his customer 2 times and lowered my rate each time that I did it. He's waiting for your phone call or your text. Make sure you tell him Andy sent you. This is such a smart move. Start the conversation. It's free to talk to him. See how he can help you. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan as well. And MLS number 226-715.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac. Saturday and Sunday, April 27th and 28th. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
I know we're all busy. We're working, we're running errands, trying to take care of the kids. It's really easy to put things off. One thing you do not want to put off, though, your annual eye exam. The doctors at Ophthalmology Associates not only gave me the most thorough eye exam I've ever had, but they're also experts in the diagnosis and treatment of all diseases of the eye. Everything from dry eye to macular degeneration and cataracts. Think about this. Your eye health is the window into your overall body health. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry, they can look at your eyes and even tell in some cases if you have early stage diabetes, heart disease, lung problems, even some forms of cancer. They're called the doctors' doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors. The best part about this is that most insurance plans cover the cost of your annual eye exam. Set up your appointment today, 314-966-5000. Again, 314-966-5000, or go to youridoc.com.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation. Because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Missouri's Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe.
We absolutely have to shut down the border, period. No other way to say it. We have to do it.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You've been wearing that crown and tearing me down. It's been a while since you treated me right. You strung me along.
The very guy who was helping Joe Biden get the $8 million, Joe Biden had used the motive for Joe Biden to disclose classified information, to retain classified information, which he definitely knew was against the law. When you get named special counsel, what's that guy do? He destroys the evidence. That's the key takeaway in my mind. That's the key takeaway. I yield back.
Jim Jordan today in a portion of his line of questioning for Robert Hur, who is the special counsel that was tasked with investigating Joe Biden for the boxes of classified document in the very secure location next to his Corvette. I think that Joe Biden is more proud of his Corvette than anything else because it's like anything to talk about the freaking Corvette. Classified documents in a garage. This is just one of the locations where they were discovered. Again, not out on the street. These are Joe Biden's words. They weren't out on the street. They were next to his Corvette. And then we're just supposed to laud Joe Biden with just a round of resounding applause for complying with the investigators when they came in to take all of the classified documents that I don't think he was supposed to have. But who am I to know? I'm just a radio commentator. I'm not an expert like our next guest, Chris Farrell, who is the Director of Investigations and Research, as well as a board member at Judicial Watch. Chris, thanks for being with us today. It's good to have you.
Annie, great to be with you. And I'm also happy to tell you that I was a special agent of Army counterintelligence for 10 years, and I put people in jail for what Joe Biden's done.
Well, what is okay? Since you have this expertise on your resume, the word exonerate came up. Jayapal tried to get that in, say, okay, you exonerate him because you weren't prosecuting him. For a non-legal eagle like myself, what's the difference between an exoneration and electing not to prosecute by Robert Hur?
Miles and miles apart. Prosecutors don't go around exonerating anybody. That's not the way it works. It's a manufactured terminology for, one of these political sideshows that you're watching in these hearing rooms. They either elect to prosecute or they don't. No prosecutor, whether he's a local county district attorney or a special prosecutor or a federal prosecutor, nobody goes around exonerating anybody. It's make-believe. It's phony language that was injected into the hearing to make it seem like, Biden is pure as driven snow, which is absolute garbage.
Chris Farrell with Judicial Watch with us right now. He's their Director of Investigations and Research. The phrase that came out of the Hur report that Joe Biden is a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, was it necessary in the full body of work of the Hur report for Robert Hur to put that phrase in, or was it just a political maneuver on his part?
Well, it wasn't necessary because he has to explain his reasoning for why he did not charge him, because he met all the elements of the crime. One of the things that is not an element of the crime under the Espionage Act for mishandling classified defense information, one of the elements that is not underlined, not necessary, is intent, because frankly, nobody gives a damn what you intended to do or not. The question is, did you unlawfully possess classified material? It's a yes or no issue. Now, when a prosecutor goes to bring that in front of a jury, he has to explain that, and that's the issue at hand. That's why it makes it hard when there's this doddering old fool who can barely remember his name and he can't string two sentences together. It's hard to make him look like a criminal mastermind because he's an idiot. Your listeners, some of them will be old enough to remember a New York mobster called Vinny the Chin Gigante. His trick was to walk around New York City as a mob boss, but he did it in a bathrobe and slippers, mumbling to himself. He advertised to the world that he was totally out of it, and the FBI and DOJ never went after him. So this is sort of the Biden defense. Gee, I don't know. I can't remember. I'm not sure. Part of it may have been play acting. The other part of it may have been just a very frank snapshot of Biden's state of mind.
I have a question for you, because this is something that multiple people at this congressional hearing put out there for her to respond to, or maybe just to say. the idea that he is, in fact, a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, or the alternative to that is that he is acting in an art of deception and pretending to be that way. Do you have any thoughts on whether or not this is actually the way Joe Biden is, or if they would even think to say, you know what, let's just pretend?
Well, they know that he's clearly out of it. And so, you see his performance at the State of the Union, where my personal belief is that he was injected with who knows what sort of performance-enhancing drugs to get him up to the point where he was screaming like a lunatic, and he had on his mean face through three-quarters of the speech. But I think day in, day out, when he's unguarded and he's not, being given carefully crafted direction and cue cards and all that kind of thing, I think he is befuddled. I think he is not nearly the person that he was even 5 years ago. So he's in a state of decline, and they can use that to their advantage when they want to, and they can spin it around and push him up like they did to the State of the Union. But here's the other thing. Every criminal defense attorney in the world would tell him, look, unless you have like crystal clear 100% recall of exactly what happened, say you don't remember, or say that it's unclear. And now they're talking about, look, he's been stealing documents for decades. He was stealing classified documents when he was in the Senate. And so he's had this stuff in his possession for a long time. So does he remember when he stole classified documents when he was in the Senate? Probably not. He probably can't tell you exactly what he took and when. So that opens the door to, oh, gee, I don't remember. See?
Yeah, there's a lot of gray area there, certainly. And in the State of the Union as well, he stayed on script pretty well. And then when he didn't, the Lincoln Riley snafu, and then calling like the cardinal sin on the left, referring to a newcomer, an undocumented immigrant, or an illegal. When he went off script, it was a dumpster fire for the people on the left. And I think he showed that in the midst of a big shouting match. I felt very much so like I should go to my room.
And there were still instances during that speech where he had these rambling, weird half sentences. Now, he was screaming them like a lunatic, but that didn't make the sentences any more coherent.
That's true. We're speaking with Chris Farrell, the Director of Investigations and Research at Judicial Watch. You can learn more at judicialwatch.org. It's my understanding that you've served as a military intelligence officer. You've specialized in counterintelligence and human intelligence. And I have to think that you have an extra level of expertise when it comes to classified documentation. I don't understand all of that.
I certainly do.
But you've got a Donald Trump situation. You got a Joe Biden situation. It seems on the outside looking in that this is more of a political back and forth. Should one be charged? If not, then the other. But there are classified documents that are involved in both of these trials. And I wonder what you think about the possession, what we heard from Jim Jordan there. Joe Biden was writing a book, got an $8 million advance. He certainly had motive to have these classified documents. What do you think about the casual nature, maybe in both cases, that Trump and Biden have retained some classified information and the distinction between the two?
Here's the key thing. And Judicial Watch is the only litigant in federal court that has an actual decision from a court concerning presidential documents that are classified. It's the shorthand reference to it is what's called the Clinton sock drawer case. Judicial Watch sued to get records. We lost. And when the judge wrote the opinion saying that President Clinton could do whatever he damn well pleased with classified documents that he took from his office when he left the presidency, the judge in this case, Amy Berman Jackson, said that the president had absolute, unreviewable authority to take any classified documents or records of any form that he wanted to. That is the one and only U.S. District Court opinion on the Presidential Records Act and the handling of classified documents by a former president. It's our case. We know because we lost it. We wanted to get Clinton to turn over documents he had taken, and the judge here in D.C. said no, he can do whatever he wants with it. So we know directly and firsthand in our litigation that President Trump, likewise, was authorized to take any classified records, documents, etc., that he wished to as he left the presidency and keep them for himself. It's not even an open question. And that's been the law of the land for going on 13 years now.
Do you have confidence that that precedent will also apply to Donald Trump in this legal climate?
Well, it's very selectively a case of amnesia in the Garland Justice Department. But they know very well that the legal standard established by Judge Amy Berman Jackson in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, what this happened was is that Bill Clinton took classified audio recordings of his interview with a historian named Taylor Branch, and he literally hid them in his sock drawer. He tucked them in the back drawer of his own personal wardrobe and had them there. And it came out because Taylor Branch did an interview talking about these classified recordings that he had, and he had given a copy to the president. Well, we sued saying, hey, look, those are public records. The archive should have them, and the American people should be able to hear, what they used it for writing a book together. So why can't the American public hear that or have a copy of that? And we lost. And literally, the Clinton sock drawer case is the only federal court ruling touching on this matter. It's our case, and I'm telling you, we know best.
Yeah. Chris Farrell speaking with us. Final question for you. We appreciate your time today. That Presidential Records Act precedent and experience that you have from Judicial Watch, having lost that case, does it apply to Joe Biden's classified documents as well then?
Well, it doesn't, because Joe Biden was never president. He was vice president, but the rules don't apply to the vice president, and they certainly don't apply to a senator. So there's a very marked distinction between the actions of the president and his authority and Biden's serial, decades-long violation of the Espionage Act.
Chris Farrell, we appreciate your time today. Thank you for giving us this insight. We're grateful for it.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Director of Investigations and Research, board member at Judicial Watch, and we're grateful to have him on and to talk about that. That's the thing to me that sticks out the most. And I understand that there is an allegation against Donald Trump and his willingness to cooperate with the people coming in to check the documents and stuff. And people are saying that there was obstruction there. But I've also heard legal experts say, like, the obstruction of a non-crime. It's entrapment to put somebody in a position where there is a non-crime, and you go in and you create a scenario where the pushback is when you compare the fact that the classified documents that Donald Trump has are from his presidency and from Joe Biden, they're not. That seems like an entry-level disqualification on the Joe Biden side to suggest that any of that would apply to him. And it also makes it less understandable that he would lay possession to these for some sort of privilege, because he wasn't the president in retaining those documents, and Donald Trump was. And that the actual issue at hand with the Jack Smith trial against Donald Trump, the Mar-a-Lago raid, where they came in and raided his home for these documents, they haven't treated this like it's apples to apples, and they selectively pick and choose when they want to apply it.
Right. And like, what's really interesting too, when you look at the Mar-a-Lago case, it was Biden's administration that waived the presidential immunity whenever they wanted to go get those documents back. The office of the president had to waive it so they could go and get them, because the president had a right to it. Once they waived it, then they're like, all right, go get them. It's wild.
It's political. And it's very frustrating. Thankfully, we've had Zach Smith on to talk about the legal view of the hearing that took place today. That was at 12:25, if you would like to hear his reaction to that. And Chris Farrell, who is a very senior level individual at Judicial Watch, to talk to us about that sock drawer case. I love how, and he's right to do so, boastful he is about it being their case that he lost. He's like, we know this because it's kind of the thing that sticks in your craw and you're just like never really quite get over it. And you're like, oh, wait, this is useful now. Bring it back to the forefront. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to listen to Darrell Issa and what he had to say in the testimony today. So stick around and go on to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Say hi. Come say hi to us. We want to hear from you, especially if you've never done it before. Today's the day. Come say hi and vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory? Yes or no? Can't wait to hear what you have to say. We'll be right back.
With you, you're one bridge I like to burn.
is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Point Pest Control, my friends at Point, my best friends at Point Pest Control, they are waiting for your phone call, 636-798-0023. They're online. It's Point with an E, P-O-I-N-T-E, pestcontrol.com. If you have been thinking about handling the pest situation in your home, for me, it was spiders, and one spider is one way too many. But it might not be spiders for you. It could be a whole host of different things like ants or crickets, mice in your home. Blech. If you want to get rid of them and get rid of them fast, you reach out to Point Pest Control. They did it for my house, and I'm not exaggerating. This is 100% the God's honest truth. They came and took care of my house, and I have not seen a single bug in my house since then, and it's been months since they were there. I've already had my quarterly treatment, so it's been at least 3 months since they were there. They came out and they took care of the outside. They'll come back on the inside, and they told me, you see one spider, you see one bug, you call us back out, we'll treat the home again. You can rely on Point Pest Control. It works. We're grateful that they're supporting our show, and I hope that you reach out to them to handle your pest problem and also support the show. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you do and save an extra 10% discount on top of any specials that they are currently running. So you mentioned my name, you're going to get a little extra something there, and I'm grateful that they're doing that as well. 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023. It's Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Outdoor Living Redefined, brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design, your trusted partner in crafting stunning decks, inviting screened rooms, and elegant porch overhangs. Imagine enjoying a crisp morning coffee on your beautifully designed deck, or hosting gatherings in a spacious screened room. Lakeside turns your vision into reality. Our skilled craftsmen use top-notch materials to create spaces that stand up to the elements and stand out in style. Elevate your lifestyle with Lakeside's outdoor living expertise. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-293-8030. That's 800-293-8030. 800-293-8030.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, and other unsecured debt. If you're struggling to make monthly payments, there are special services that can significantly reduce what you pay each month by 40% or more. If you qualify, you could save hundreds of dollars each month. Most people don't know that these services are available right now to help American consumers with overwhelming credit card debt get significant savings and immediate financial relief without filing bankruptcy. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you may qualify for. They've helped consumers pay off over $1 billion in debt and are A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times.
For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-216-3366. 800-216-3366. That's 800-216-3366. Program and services not available in all states.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Hi, Chad Hansen from Hansen's Tree Service. Winter is the best time to remove dead and dangerous limbs from your trees before a winter storm brings them crashing down. Give us a call today or check us out at hansenstree.com and take advantage of our great winter discount.
Kenny Chesney is coming to town June 13th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, and we are going to give you free tickets in just a few minutes. So you're real close in the 2 o'clock hours when we're going to give those away. Keep listening for your chance to win a pair. And then let us know, is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory? That is today's Andy Fry YouTube live chat poll. It's a simple yes or no. Let us know what you think. It is 1:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Mark Cox here. Join me and keynote speaker Senator Josh Hawley Friday, March 22nd for the 2024 St. Charles County Lincoln Day Dinner. We'll have drinks, dinner, and thought-provoking discussions. Tickets are on sale now. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
A never-ending celebration, baby. That's how we show our dedication. The boys in the band. The boys in the band. We do it for the fans. The boys in the band. Where the ladies let the crowd in. 'Cause it's about
You guys heard about Deadspin's obituary yesterday. They got bought, and then they fired everybody.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Deadspin was the publication that wrote the story on the kid who went to the Chiefs game and painted his face. He painted it blackface, but it was just half black. The other half was red. Why? Well, that's because the colors of the Chiefs. That's what he was doing. He was celebrating that, and this soulless scourge of an individual is like, oh, let's trash this child because they came to the game in face paint at a football game. It's a very novel idea for this 11-year-old kid. Well, the kid ended up winning in the long run. I think they're still suing it. I don't know how that's going to affect the lawsuit if Deadspin doesn't exist anymore. But they were engaging in a lawsuit against Deadspin for defamation, as they should have. But then yesterday we found out that they got bought, and then everybody at Deadspin got fired. Now, do y'all know who Dave Portnoy is? He owns and operates Barstool. He sold Barstool for like a ton of money, and then he bought it back for $1. I don't understand what kind of deal this guy made with the devil, but he is doing just fine financially. I think that Dave Portnoy is one of the funniest people on the planet, and I enjoy watching him. He's a little crass. He's a lot crass, but he has a way of saying things. I think from like where my heart is, and I just can't always say them the way Dave Portnoy says them. And Deadspin, it's just like a very angry publication that is just looking to tear people down, and they have an absolute political lean, and Dave Portnoy was celebrating their death.
Listen, even I'm getting confused. How many times can I pop a bottle for the same company? How many times can I kill Deadspin? How many times can Julie DeCaro lose her job? It seems like infinity. But here we are, once again, Deadspin, out of business, bought, everyone fired for the 90th straight time. This is just kicking a dead dog. But you know what? I'm not beyond it. There we go. To Deadspin, everybody getting fired again. Those just don't get it. Being miserable, hating life, never laughing, it's never gonna pay the bills. See you on the employment line again.
He's floating in his
Victory!
pool. I want the victory clip. He's floating in his pool with a bottle of champagne, His dog, Peaches, if you pay attention to Dave Portnoy, he just rescued this dog. And he just lives to spoil it. I think he needs children, but that's a whole different story. He's spoiling this dog, and Miss Peaches is running around in the background, and he's just floating in his pool, and he lives in Miami, and he's having the best time ever. And he's right. This Deadspin, the way Deadspin does business, it's just angry, soulless, dirty, bleh. And who wants to be around that on a regular basis? It's not a fun place to be. The misery loves company industry is dying. And it's dying maybe a slower death than it needs to, but it is fading. Funny is back in trend, and I'm happy about that. And Dave Portnoy going out there and doing whatever Dave Portnoy wants to do. And that's really kind of why I'm entertained by him. He is so plain spoken in his thoughts and opinions on things, and I'm just here for it. And Barstool does some things that I'm not like, hey, kids, come here, let's sit down and take in what Barstool Sports and Dave Portnoy has to say. But I think he does represent the average American person in thought and in word way better than any of these elitist, dripping, oozing, vomitous publications like Deadspin that continued to die. I was happy to see it. I was very happy to see it. He opens the champagne, drinks it while he's floating in the pool, and then he spits it everywhere. And then he says, in the weirdest way, victory! It's so bizarre. But I'm happy for it. And Miss Peaches. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I've got responses from Wiggins America and the relationship advice that Ryan was giving us earlier. And then we'll get to the last point that he was going to make. You ready to do that?
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, don't go away.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Come check out our new LaSalle display and our final phase of Inverness at Bryan and Feisey Road in Dardenne Prairie. We will build to order or select from one of our designer market homes ready to move in at substantial savings, including our luxurious former display home. This professionally decorated ranch is loaded with features and has over $100,000 in savings. Plus, get special financing starting in the 4s. Hurry to take advantage of these deals. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today.
You're saving on your grocery bill when you shop at Ruler Foods. It's pretty much that simple. There's more to say, of course, but if the takeaway here is a quick one, it's that your grocery bill is less for more at Ruler Foods. If you're feeding a family of 6 like we are, you spend a lot of time at the grocery store, it makes sense to go to Ruler Foods to get those staples, to get the whole cart full, and to get more for your dollar or to spend less of your dollar for what you normally need. Did you know that Ruler Foods has the brands that you love? Did you know that Ruler Foods also carries Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices? You can save on strawberries, a pound of them, or 6 ounces of raspberries, 2 for $5. Kroger 80% lean ground beef sold in 3-pound rolls, right now $3.66 a pound. Get those baby back ribs or pork steaks for the smoker or for the grill, $2.99 a pound. Save on your grocery dollars and your grocery bill when you shop at Ruler Foods. You can find yours that's closest to you, including the ad with all of the extra savings when you go visit them online at rulerfoods.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000, that's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's not about a red line. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House says the president was answering a question when he suggested an Israeli invasion of Rafah in Gaza would cross a line, but that he didn't make any declarations and is focused on policy.
We've made clear our concerns about the fact that an operation would put an enormous number of civilians at risk, and we have not seen a credible plan to protect those civilians.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan steering clear of hypotheticals about Israel's next move or any possible U.S. response. He also just announced emergency aid for Ukraine, a $300 million package of security assistance, weapons to address some of Ukraine's pressing needs.
This is possible because of unanticipated cost savings in contracts that DoD negotiated to replace equipment we've already sent to Ukraine through previous drawdowns.
But he says it won't meet Ukraine's battlefield needs. A $95 billion package that includes aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, passed by the Senate, remains in limbo. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell just urging House Speaker Mike Johnson to allow a vote. Congressman Ken Buck, a Colorado Republican, just announcing he won't serve out his term, resigning next week instead, further squeezing the narrow House majority.
They will be down to 431 members, 218 Republicans to 213 Democrats. As I always say, it's about the math. Right now, Republicans can only lose 2 votes on their side and still pass a bill, because a tie vote, that goes down automatically by rule.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Buck posting his decision online without giving a specific reason, but saying he looks forward to spending more time with family and will stay involved in the political process. Just getting reports that the police chief in Uvalde, Texas, has resigned. Daniel Rodriguez was out of state during a school shooting that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead in 2022. The police response remains under investigation. America is listening to Fox News.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-919-3200. That's 800-919-3200. 800-919-3200.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
No arguments about our weather this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, windy and mild, 72. Tonight the clouds take over, windy, 60s for evening plans. A couple of scattered showers late tonight, 52. Wednesday, partly sunny, but some scattered afternoon showers, maybe a rumble of thunder in 75. Looking for an uptick in scattered showers and thunderstorms Thursday into Thursday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Guys, you know summer is just around the corner. Get yourself in shape now. Let my friends at Victory Men's Health help you. Mark Cox here. You know Victory is offering semaglutide, approved by the FDA for overweight adults. It's a game changer. On average, people are losing up to 15% of their body weight. Be sure and visit my friends at Victory Men's Health in Wing Haven, their newest location in Sunset Hills. They're also in Town and Country and in O'Fallon, Illinois. Go online today. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Air Comfort Service is online at aircomfortservice.com, obviously. 314-513-0091. I want to encourage you, along with Air Comfort Service, to keep your HVAC system running efficiently by having regular system checks. And of course, you can get those from Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. If you don't pay attention to your HVAC system with regularity, you are like most people, certainly like me. I'm not thinking about my heating and air conditioning unit. Sorry, Corey. It's just not like the regular thought that I have on a monthly basis. But Corey and the Air Comfort Service team can come out and make sure that you don't have to think about it with a monthly maintenance plan so that you are taken care of. 314-513-0091. You connect with them. And for plans starting only at $15 a month, you pay monthly, you get your 12-month free. You can make sure that you can avoid costly repairs that crept up on you when you weren't thinking about your HVAC system. Let them do the work for you and the thinking for you. Reach out to Air Comfort Service by calling 314-513-0091. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or them levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me and keynote speaker Senator Josh Hawley Friday, March 22nd for the 2024 St. Charles County Lincoln Day Dinner. We'll have drinks, dinner, and thought-provoking discussions. Tickets are on sale now. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
What were you saying, Ryan?
I was saying you had a good-looking mid-afternoon treat over there.
You sound just like Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe Biden is eating apples and almond butter. I do not want, turn the microphone off. Don't let him speak with us.
This is your worst nightmare, and you made it happen. You forced it.
Brad, what did Ryan just say? I was just minding my business.
I believe he said true international depression.
And what he meant was
this is your worst nightmare.
Butter.
Look, I swallowed fast, and I swallowed hard.
How do you feel?
And I feel completely fine. What I said was in the break, I said, that is a terrific-looking, healthy mid-afternoon snack. And I said it very genuinely.
Nobody was talking.
Nobody was saying anything.
It wasn't the subject of conversation.
No.
It was actually kind of quiet in here.
And then I said it louder than average.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys thought, what? Why is he being so weird? And the answer is, I didn't want you to think that I was asking for any.
Oh.
So I was trying to make it sound over the top stupid, but I meant, oh, that looks like a really good snack.
But you went too far over the top.
You okay?
And now
you don't have an almond allergy, do you?
He goes, I don't know. I've never eaten health food before.
I don't know. I've never had fruit.
Yeah, I'm allergic to fruit and almond butter, but no big deal.
I am allergic to blood oranges. You don't have any of those, do you?
Yeah.
Because if you do, I can't eat those.
What'd you think?
I thought that was great. I've had peanut butter apples before.
Yeah, but almond butter apples.
Almond butter apples, just the same.
Almonds. Almonds.
Yeah.
Mr. Mond.
Yeah.
Almond.
the Almond brothers. I like that snack, and I'm very, very glad that I got to eat some. Thanks for loading that thing up and then saying you have to eat it all right before the show starts, though, while the intro is playing.
I didn't do that. I did.
You did.
You got some business to attend to.
I do, and I thought that's what we were going to have to go right into, and I'm like, no, I can't.
Well, I couldn't listen to you eat the rest of that.
Yeah, this is your fault, ultimately. Back to you. June 13th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Kenny Chesney coming to town. Now is the time to call if you want to win free tickets. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Be the 12th caller, and you'll win a pair of tickets for June 13th. One more time, 314-241-9797.
Yeah, excited we get to give away Kenny. I love Kenny Chesney. I think he's great. And he was coming up in the time, like I was in high school, he was new. And so being able to see he is a Hall of Fame caliber country music star without question. And I would go to that concert. I might go.
Here's how much I didn't know. When making the promo for that, I had to ask what his songs were. And
we
Trisha,
play them on the show.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I don't know who is Kenny Chesney. Like when I hear that, I go, oh, okay, I didn't know that was Kenny Chesney because I just didn't listen to country at that time at all. And yeah, some of those songs, I'm like, I think I may have heard these, and there was a little bit of nostalgia, even though I didn't really know them.
Yeah, you know a lot more than you realize you know, which is like me and most music. Country I know a little bit more of, especially the Kenny Chesney era. In Wiggins America today at 12:45, you did 5 phrases that prove your relationship is stronger than most. And we got some reaction as we were doing those questions. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to read some comments that folks. Did you guys delete them? No, okay. Ripper says, no, that's not the right one. I had some here that I think are gone now. But I want to read some of the thoughts that y'all had when we were having this discussion earlier. But Ryan, why don't you reset the table with the first 4 phrases that prove your relationship is stronger than most? This is a CNBC article that you brought to us, and then we'll get to the 5th one, and I'll read you some of those comments.
So these are phrases that you should be using in your relationship, your marriage, or your dating relationships. And the first one is thank you. That one we all agreed was pretty obvious, and we all use that as often as we can. It becomes kind of natural to do these things.
It's also, when like with the phrase thank you, it's implied. If you're with the same person all of the time, it can be easy to say, to just forget those pleasantries. And sometimes adding it in is a good exercise just to remind each other that you're grateful for it, even though you would hope that the person would already understand that.
Yep. Number 2 is help me understand this, or something to that effect, where you have to ask, look, we're not communicating here. Let me try to understand the perspective that you're coming from, something like that. And we all, I think, generally said that we do this. This is more when you're either fighting or you're in something that's a little more tense. When you're in the midst of those moments, stopping and going, let me try to at least see this from your perspective and doing it in a nice way. Number 3, I can forgive you. Can you forgive me? Now, the wording of that one was a little strange because it starts with saying,
that almost sounds like an ultimatum.
I'm acknowledging that you were wrong, but I'll also acknowledge that I'm wrong. That usually doesn't end well, but they're saying that is a good phrase to be using. I can forgive you. Can you forgive me?
And our reaction is that, or at least mine specifically, but I think you guys agreed that like saying I forgive you is an important exercise.
Yeah. And just saying sorry, like acknowledging when you're wrong. Number 4, and this is the last one we got to before the final one. I am committed to you. Reaffirming that you are in it for the long haul, even in the midst of moments that it may not seem like it.
Yeah, my version of that is I can think of a few times over the course of our 17 almost years of marriage where my husband and I have been fighting or arguing, and it comes down to you just get to the point where you're stretched and stressed, and maybe the conversation's been going on long enough, or if somebody's hurt and the other one just says, even though they're still mad and you haven't resolved the issue, I'm not going anywhere. Like, for the sake of this conversation, in order to fix the problem that is at hand or the disagreement, and to get past it, it's a different mental space to stay focused on the problem if you understand that the problem is the focus. If you are looking at the problem like it's going to lead to the biggest, scariest problem, then it's hard to actually focus on fixing the problem because you don't know if you're both running the same race to try to get to the same finish line if somebody's thinking of something different. And if it enters the conversation, or if you anticipate or infer that the other person is thinking the scary thought, just to say, that's not what we're doing here. I'm really ticked off, but that's not where we're going. I think that kind of sets the tone so that you can at least get to progress and hopefully a reconciliation of whatever that means. If someone apologizes, if somebody does something different, if you just agree that was not good, and then you agree to move on.
Especially if that threat is hanging over the relationship in any way. Saying that is like, okay, I want to work through this issue.
Do you fight in front of your kids?
We actually, I think we naturally try not to, and we consciously try to.
I was going to say, we don't really try not to. Our kids have seen us fight plenty. And what I don't think we fight we don't fight a lot, but if we have a disagreement, we don't hide the disagreement. And in a lot of ways, it makes us fight more fair. And our kids, I believe, maybe some psychologists could correct my opinion on this, but I think that they need to see that conflict happens, that mom makes mistakes and says things that she should apologize for. Dad makes mistakes and says things he should apologize for. And if the conflict happens in front of them and the resolution happens in front of them, that they understand that conflict doesn't inherently end in the big scary thing.
Very true. And that's why we try to have a little bit of that. The problem is that at this point in our marriage, when we're having a problem, it's usually a deeper problem, and we can't just talk it out quickly. We got to sit down and let's talk. And that usually is hard to do with a couple of 9-year-olds and a 6-year-old running around. So we'll kind of do the surface stuff in front of them, show the conflict part, but then it's like we have to sit down and talk.
But you're not opposed to your kids seeing you guys in conflict.
As long as it's healthy conflict. Because like you said, if there's unhealthy conflict constantly in your house, that's not good for a kid to see. But if you're not in that kind of household, it's also good for them to see that conflict is a part of a healthy relationship.
Yeah, you can't have a front in front of your children that everything is always great or agreeable, because they're going to be in a relationship and obviously discover it is not always great and easy. Yeah. It's going to be difficult, and you have to push through it. Like, the great thing that we have in our house is a lot of work to get there, and it is not always easy. In fact, sometimes it's crushingly hard, especially if you're going through something and you're watching your significant other go through something very difficult, and you're trying to lift everything up, but then you realize, no, this is really hard on me too, and it's hard on the family. Or if it's a direct conflict between the two, like going through that as a family and learning the process in front of your children so that they can learn from you, from the things that you do successfully and from your mistakes too, I think it's important.
Ready for the last one?
Fifth one, the one we didn't get to.
Last one. Here we go. I like you. That's the last phrase.
Isn't it? I like you is different than I love you.
It is different than I love you. And both of those are important. But we tend to not use, I think we use I love you pretty generically. And I like you does mean something a little bit different, and it's a little more intentional.
I've definitely loved people that I didn't like at the time.
Yeah?
My wife uses I like you all the time.
Are you offended by that?
No. She walks by just out of the blue, and she'll look at me and she'll be like, I like you.
That's great.
It's good. I like it.
Is it a substitute for I love you?
No.
Yeah,
no.
I don't think so
Because
either.
like Annie was saying, there are times when you love somebody because you have to. Liking somebody is more of an emotional, instant kind of feeling about somebody right then and there. And it's like, I really like you.
I like you is what led into I love you. The I like you came before the I love you. I like you is an attraction. It's something that exists where you catch somebody's eye or somebody catches your eye, and there are things that they do that you like. You don't love that. You can't, maybe there's some love at first sight thing that you can go back. I've told my husband the story since we have then been married, and he's like, that's creepy. But the first time I met him, I thought I could marry him.
Yeah, that's creepy.
I'm sure most men would think that. And I'm sure most women would go, yeah, I get that. But it wasn't that I wanted to marry him. And I was at the time maybe 19. I think I was 19 at the time. It would have been after my freshman year. And the first time that I ever met him, which was funny because there was context to that. My family had known his family, and I knew he had a great family. So it's like, you know where they're coming from. That answers a lot of questions to begin with. And the first time I met him, I thought he was really cute, and he seemed really fun and kind of carefree. And I actually had the thought, like, I could marry him. But there's a lot about him that I didn't know. I didn't know the annoying things about him. I know all of them now. Just kidding, Jared. I am way more insufferable than he is. I didn't know about the details, but I just knew on the surface that I liked him. And that knowing where he came from, that his family was such a good family and had common interests that my family had, that there would be a future there. I guarantee you, the women listening right now know exactly what it's like to meet someone and go, I could never marry that person.
Well,
you can know that.
Guys probably think that too.
For sure.
I don't think that guys are meeting women at that state and is instantly assessing marriage material.
Well, that's the question is, I think women probably are thinking about marriage more than guys.
You do?
I do. And therefore, women are constantly assessing, would you be marriage material? Whereas guys are assessing other things.
That's my point. My point is that when a man meets a woman for the first time or lays eyes on a person for the first time, I don't think they're thinking the thought that I had when I met Jared for the first time. Like, I think I could marry him. I can't assume what he was thinking about me. But I don't think that that's the sentence or the phrase that men are thinking, like, ooh, she could be marriage material. I at least don't think you meet that person at Wild Country, which is where I met Jared.
Hey,
for the first time.
This is a tough question to answer, but had you thought that about other guys ever before that? And that not like in a weird way, just is that something that commonly would come up?
That I wouldn't marry them.
I mean, that's fair too.
No, I mean, I did date. I dated a few guys, and I dated really nice, wonderful guys that just weren't. We didn't have enough in common, or the chemistry wasn't there. I don't think that I ever dated anybody who I would not have recommended other people date.
So yeah, so that thought would have come. Okay, this guy is marriage material.
There were other guys that I would have dated, but I never. Like we have kind of a running joke on the show about me asking Jared out first. I asked Jared to go to a Cardinals game with me, but we were not dating. We were not together. And he likes to joke that that was our first date, but he knows darn well that wasn't a date. And he did ask me out after. It was like a couple weeks after that. But I would never have. I was too scared to put myself out there to a guy and been like, I'm interested in you. Did not want the rejection. I would rather pine away in secrecy for the rest of my life than fear going out to a man and being rejected by a man. Not interested. And I'm going to be honest. I was only interested in men who were ballsy enough to pursue me. Like that is an entry level point for me.
That is probably one of the hardest things for guys to do.
It is hard.
It is a constant, but it's expected of you. You're the one that asks her out, and you're like, all right, you go out with me? You want to go get drinks or something? And then you're just like,
that didn't work.
And you wait, and you either get a rejection or then she says yes, and you're like, really?
Crap, now what?
I didn't think I'd get this far.
Or you keep calling her like every week, and she keeps saying she's washing her hair, and you just don't pick up on the...
What's the matter with your hair?
I like your hair. You don't have to wash it that much.
You show up at the doorstep with shampoo. I was thinking maybe you'd try this. It's extra oily.
You seem like you're washing your hair a lot, like every time I call. So here you go.
When we come back, I'm going to ask you about the merits and the chivalrous nature of that, because I have more questions, but we should take a break. So I have enough. I don't want to cut you off after a quick question and a quick answer. So we'll discuss more of this and answers to thoughts like this one here. I'll pull it up. You guys were talking about being in training by your wives before.
Yeah.
SD says, not really training, but when wife starts with, quote, raising tone, slight pause, I'm in for news I don't want to hear. Gentlemen, do you know what he's talking about there? We'll be right back. Don't go away.
I'm just wondering why I
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Okay, so if you are like SD there that was talking about when she says, and she raises her tone, there's a slight pause, and you're in for news you don't want to hear, the next thing you do is you go to the Diamond Shop in Clayton. That is how you win every time. You'll be in good hands. They have very affordable pieces there that you come back. Here's what you should do. You should just get a few affordable things, tuck them away, hide them, and save them for the tone raise where she says, and then you make her day the next day. You got to spread it out a little bit, and you get the full credit for it. If you're looking for something beautiful from the Diamond Shop, you are going to be in store for a really great experience with experts. These people at the Diamond Shop, Tom and Mona and the rest of the staff there, they are so good at what they do. Custom jewelry as well. But right now in March, they have 30% off all in-stock jewelry for this month. If you're looking for something green, it's March, St. Patrick's Day. They got it for you right now. You can go there and save an extra 10% off all green in-stock jewelry from March 1st through the 16th. So that's right now for a couple more days, celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Go to where my husband has gone and gotten me some beautiful things. I remember those days specifically when I got my set of pearls. I've got a beautiful set of hoops that he gave me. I gave him a tie restraint, not a tie tack, but a tie restraint. All beautiful things from the Diamond Shop. I highly recommend them as a customer myself. You can find out more information and how to become a VIP online at thediamondshop.net.
Spring training is here, and it's almost time to embrace the essence of summer and let the soothing tones of Cardinals baseball transport you to warm, sun-soaked days. With the free Odyssey app, relive the joy of tuning in with your transistor radio, now seamlessly connecting you to every St. Louis Cardinals game on KMOX. Wherever your summer takes you, make sure to download the Odyssey app today and savor the sounds of Cardinals baseball. That's AUDACY, redefining your summer soundtrack. Live games available for fans and market only.
Cardinals single game tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now and start at just $6. The schedule is filled with great matchups, including 2 weekend series with the Cubs, plus weekend matchups with the Dodgers, Red Sox, and more. The promo schedule is packed with fan favorites too, like jerseys, bobbleheads, player tributes, and so much more. There's something for everyone in the 2024 season. Get your tickets now at Cardinals.com.
This is Lars Newbar, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Here's a rookie debut you won't want to miss. An all-inclusive experience that's new to Busch Stadium in 2024. The Budweiser 703 Club salutes Albert Pujols' legendary 703 career home run. This new premium club features an open field view of the game, plus a full-service bar and elevated ballpark fare like stone-fired pizza, fresh pasta, a dessert station, a full nacho bar, and more. For tickets or more details, visit cardinals.com/703club.
Does your bathroom feel old and outdated? Are you dreaming of a bathroom makeover but think it's too expensive and time-consuming? Then it's time to call 1-800-REMODEL and give your bathroom a beautiful new look in just days without having to make your first payment for up to 18 months. When you call 1-800-REMODEL, you'll be connected to a top pre-screened certified bathroom remodeling professional who specializes in beautifying bathrooms quickly and affordably. We've helped tens of thousands of homeowners looking to upgrade their homes, and we can help you turn that old space into a showplace. With mortgage rates so high, now is not the best time to sell your home. So, enjoy living in it with an upgraded bathroom and make your home more valuable at the same time. Why wait? Give your bathroom a beautiful, clean, new look in as little as 3 days with no payment for up to 18 months. Enjoy now, pay later. Call 1-800-REMODEL now. That's 1-800-REMODEL. Financing subject to qualification.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make your home comfortable year-round with routine HVAC maintenance from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month and get 1 month free when you pay monthly. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You're mobile. We're with you on the radio or on the Odyssey app. Download it and take 97.1 with you, even outside the listening area.
Your home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
And Ryan's story about phrases that help improve your relationship and make it stronger than most that are out there. And we were discussing, kind of the entry point of a relationship, how it materializes. I don't know if I was talking about how I don't think it's being proud, but I wanted a guy that I was dating to be willing to come to me and have the guts to ask me out. I think that's important. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think that is, and that sets the tone from minute one, in a sense. And that doesn't mean that he has to be like full of bravado, but willing to take that step. You got to do it. You're the guy.
Yeah, I think it shows bravery. I mean, it's intimidating to go ask somebody out. It also shows confidence, which I think is important. But it, like Ryan was saying, it sets the tone. I don't exactly know what it is that all women are looking for in men, but I feel like there are some general things that they look for. And whenever you ask a girl out, it's an example of those things that they would be wanting out of a man that they would consider marrying or at least even just dating.
I feel as though I think the majority of women, well, I mean, I think you guys would agree that I'm a strong-willed individual.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. Sorry.
It wasn't offensive until you apologized. That kind of hurt.
Ryan's like, what am I supposed to say?
I mean, I didn't mean to overstep by agreeing.
I was shut up. I was thinking it was an asset.
It is. I mean, I think, right?
Why you? You've never been more beta than you are.
It's
right
like,
now.
I just want you to be happy.
Whatever you're thinking, I agree.
That's exactly not your philosophy. That's actually the antithesis of it. I think I have peanut butter on my head.
We've all been there.
Almond butter. I've always been outspoken to various degrees. I've kind of honed and formed that skill or curse over the course of my lifetime. But I mean, I think I would be considered a strong-willed female, very independent, forward.
Progressive. I don't mean that, though.
Shut up.
This is fun.
Which part?
The part where I keep acting like I just need your approval.
For who? Yeah, you don't have it. I still, as a female, want to be with somebody who offers me security and protection.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I can't do it by myself, per se. This is where I think feminism, there's such a fine line to walk here. And I don't think men always understand this, and I don't think women always understand it. But it's not that I need a man to exist and be successful. I can do that all on my own. If I wanted to have this career, I don't need a man to do what I'm doing right now from a career standpoint. But I do need a man to have the family that I have. And that's science. And I do want somebody who is going to join with me to create a family, who is going to make something bigger than I can do by myself. And I don't think that there's a single man, and I don't mean single as in not coupled. I don't think there's an individual man who has entered into a successful marriage who doesn't also understand that they need the woman for something bigger than what they can do by themselves. So it's not about, men and women, that there's one that's better than the other, that you have to have each other to have certain kind of success in life. But boy, do we see an influx, especially in the political world, where the politics and the culture kind of merge together and they do have a relation with one another. There are a lot of people, and I think women especially, who have set aside the traditional pathway of getting married, having children, raising a family. Women are told that you can freeze your eggs. Just set them aside. Live your life. Build your career now while you're young. You can do that. You can have kids when you're older. That's fine. Women are told, pursue the career. Make something of yourself. And culturally, the in trend right now is for women to do something on their own, by themselves. You don't need a man to have that success in life. You can have that down the road. And then they get down the road, and men who have said, I do want to have a family. I do want to start a family. I want to find a woman who can help me build this family. And they have careers, because that's what men do. Men have careers and men have families. That's the tradition. It's breaking the norm in my family, so to speak, to have two working people. But everybody has to be a dual income now, because thanks Joe Biden, everything costs so darn much. It's more unusual to have two working parents than it is if you're going to have one working parent, the man's going to go to work. So women are told right now, flex your feminine, feminist muscles and make something of yourself, and don't fall trap to the idea that you got to get married and have kids right away. Like, that's not your sole purpose in life. And then they're getting older, and then that's not there for them. And then they're angrier. And they may have a career that they love, but they've missed out on the family thing. And I just think that there is a purpose to championing the idea that for women, especially biologically speaking, I've got 4 kids. I had my first kid when I was 25. I had Molly in 2021. I would have been like 38 maybe. If I would have waited till my 30s, I would not have been able to have 4 kids. I just couldn't have done that. And I have had a career throughout the course of it. I had a husband that supported me in all of that. But I could never have done what I've done without a man by my side to help me do something bigger than just my individual self. And there's no point in me like trying to champion and like, I'm a lesser person because I need a man. And I don't really think that men think as much about this whole situation as women do about like the idea of needing a man, so to speak. I think men, they just go out and do it. They just have the career, they have the family, they have different pressures on themselves, I think biologically, naturally, mentally. I think that the idea of modern cultural feminism, as it was intended, made it so that you could say, you know what, I think I do want to go to work. I do want to be a working mom. And postmodern feminism shames you if you decide, you know what, I think I do want to stay home and raise my kids. And the idea that the traditional family unit is somehow forbidden because it's women sacrificing something. Like, no, when you joined together, you were better than you could individually ever be by yourselves.
I think the key point that you're hitting on is that it's not that you have to be in a relationship or marriage to be fulfilled. You don't have to. And there are a lot of people that would kind of frown on you if you don't. At the same time, the cultural move in America is that you would seek self first in everything, and that includes marriages. And so we're not preparing people we're not encouraging people to marry. We're not preparing people for marriage anymore because we're trying to train them to seek self in everything. And you just can't do that in a marriage. You have to be prepared to have some sacrifice and then double down on that when you have kids, even more sacrifice. And we're not valuing those things anymore in 2024 America.
I would push it even further than if you're constantly seeking to gratify yourself, you will never arrive at the finish line.
No. It's like you have to give to receive. I mean, that's a cosmic principle that we've just lost.
There is no element of a relationship, whether it's with your spouse or a coworker or a parent or a child, where you can focus inward and get anything out of that. There will always be a huge gap if the focus is always such a self-centered one. Which all of the points, the 5 phrases that you listed there, to me are all ways to communicate that you're not thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
It's ways to communicate that in a relationship, in my relationship with my husband always has to come first over me. And that only works if I always come first over him. My husband is much better at doing that than I am. He's incredibly selfless. It's the best trait about him. But if it's not balanced, he could start to feel underappreciated. And that's when everything gets out of whack. But that also replicates itself in your relationships with other family members, with your coworkers, with people who you might serve on a board with or volunteer with or go to church with or whatever it is. We have such a self-centered society right now that when you do meet somebody who is selfless, it kind of takes your breath away. It'll stop you in your tracks. You'll be like, wow, this is a phenomenal person. And when you really put your finger on it, you just realize they care about other people. And it's sad how rare it is. But that's the way we're encouraged to be.
Especially when they're not doing it for Instagram. Because those videos, they go viral because people are looking at it going, oh, this is neat. But it's like it's self-fulfilling that they're getting something out of that. When you genuinely see something that is sacrificial, with expecting nothing in return, it really can shake you up a little bit.
Have you ever been a part of that where someone's doing something and you can tell it's for content?
Yes.
Is it me?
Yeah. I mean, no. What you're doing is fine.
What do you want me to say?
I struggle putting things up on our social media that is about me specifically, because I don't ever want to get tripped up into people think it's like self-flattery. Like, you could go look at my social media and I rarely post me stuff. I'll post about my kids. That's probably kind of the outlet to, you just feel pride about your kids or whatever. So that's the avenue that my maybe self-centered, I'm Lutheran, so I just feel a lot of guilt. But I'm forgiven, so that's good.
If you ever feel the need to post about yourself, but you don't want the credit,
just
post about me. Yeah. And we'll just know. Like, if you're listening right now, you'll know, oh, this is actually about Annie.
Is there a balance in your relationship about who's more self-centered and who's like, I am the self-centered person in our relationship?
I think I probably am too. She just handles so much more of the daily life with kids and stuff that it's almost like baked in. And part of that is that they go to the school that she teaches at. So I can't really take the kids to school and be doing a lot of that stuff because they're going with her. But it does mean that she is a lot more self-sacrificial with her time.
Do you think that she would say that you're the more self-centered person in the relationship?
Yeah, I do.
Is there an obvious breakdown for you guys in your relationship, Brad?
I think it's Terry. I think she's the most selfless person in that because
I asked if you were the more self-centered person, so just to clarify.
Oh, yeah.
You're saying Terry, Terry is the selfless person.
Yeah, it's me. It's definitely me.
You just went all in. But
it's definitely her. She is selfish. And I do my best to shake her out of that, but
yeah, it's just no. Just a small example is she makes lunch for me every day. She doesn't have to do that. She has to leave for work before I do, and she just makes sure that I've got a packed lunch before I go. And she gets home a little bit before I do, and there's usually supper ready whenever I get home. It's and she doesn't have to do any of that stuff, but she does it because she's that kind of person.
That's great.
It is great.
I buy my
It's
wife
ideal.
some pre-made salads and stuff sometimes. I'm not making
You
lunch.
literally figured out how to save money on ice cream that you would freeze for her so she wouldn't know, so that you could go get extra ones and a buy one get one free from Dairy Queen.
It was an exercise in frugality and
You're cheap.
in
Yeah.
love.
For yourself.
Ultimately, it was an exercise in love because
Love
she
and frugality.
wanted to have Dairy Queen more often, and
No,
this was
that's
a
not
way for
true.
us to afford it.
That is not
Yeah,
the
it
true
is. It's-
story.
it's true.
No, it is
You
not.
could just see
It's
him
true.
trying to...
Brad,
There's no way for us to
Brad,
afford
bring it up.
it.
Bring up the music.
No. For your phone call so she can help you sell your house fast. I'm talking about fast. The market right now, it's in your favor. So if you're on the Illinois side and you are looking to sell your home, Jen Teske, Remax Alliance, Teske, they're ready for your phone call. 618-541-1010. 618-541-1010. They have a team. It's a staff of people who know exactly what to do as soon as they get their hands on your house, to list it, to photograph it in a way that's going to showcase all of the best parts of it, and to list it for a good number that's going to get you what you need and get the house sold. They know how to go about this business. I'll also add that Jen has a certification in divorce real estate. It's a specialty. This isn't exactly what everybody is looking for, but if you're looking to sell a home as a portion of a divorce proceeding, she is specially certified for this type of real estate transaction, and she's going to make you go, gosh, I'm so glad we had Jen Teske. 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010. Jen Teske with Remax Alliance, online at jenteskehomes.com.
Mark Cox, join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group. They're holding their next Protecting Your Retirement educational event Tuesday, March 26th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering what to do with your life savings? Are you concerned about market volatility that's likely to occur as we get closer to the election? Would you like to know why linking to the market is smarter and safer than owning the market? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any losses and provide more income than your current plan? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, March 26th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Drury Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call today at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Let's talk garage doors. Your garage door. Is it too loud? Or letting cold or hot air in around the frame? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will make it all better. In March only, they will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79 and just in March. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Schedule now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
The Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day has to do with special counsel hearing today. Is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory? Seems like most of this is hinging on sympathetic, well-meaning. I think we're mostly agreeing that he's an elderly man with a poor memory. Yes or no? Let us know what you think about the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll today. Whatever. 251.
What in the world is this?
The Adderall's wearing off.
Yeah. I had a giant cookie
Biden
at about
meds.
12, and it is wearing off.
It's that peanut
251.
butter.
This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon getting ready to go here for a Tuesday afternoon. I was off yesterday, and I have a confession to make, and it's kind of embarrassing. I watched local television news. I did, and I couldn't believe the ridiculous story I saw on Channel 4, and I'm going to talk about it.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
You came along and woo, now honey, I've changed my mind. This love is fine.
Did you guys watch Maverick, Top Gun? Did you see it?
I saw it later than everybody else, but I did see it.
Did you see it in theater?
No.
I saw it in theater.
Oh, man. It's a good
so
old-fashioned made-for-the-theater movie.
No, I saw it at home. Sorry.
I'm disappointed in you.
No, I liked it, though, and I still have never seen the original Top Gun.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. And I went into it knowing that and thinking, well, if they can still win me over, then it'll be a pretty good movie. And it was. It took a while to get going, but, man, once it got going, it was really good.
The YouTube live chat poll for today, The Great Balls of Fire reminded me of that. It's such a good movie. When we went to rent it at home, because we let my kids watch it, when we went to rent it at home, we were like, we're buying it. We'll watch this again. It's about time to go back and watch it again. We've paid a lot of attention today to her testimony on Capitol Hill and everything that materialized out of that. And our YouTube live chat poll for today is Joe Biden a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory? Yes or no? Ryan?
I'm going to say no, because I don't think he's well-meaning. And I don't think he's as dark Brandon maybe as some people are saying, but he's very smarmy. And
What is dark Brandon to you?
Dark Brandon, when I say those words, it's when he was given that speech with the red background and yelling. That's dark Brandon.
Is that what you think Dark Brandon is intended to be?
I don't know.
That's where Dark Brandon came out of, and it was like a leftist, like, haha, it's Dark Brandon.
Yeah, and we're like, that kind of looks like Hitler.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good look. But the well-meaning part is where I get stuck because I just don't think he's well-meaning. And it's not just like, oh, he's trying to do a lot of these things because he may not even know some of the stuff. But he's always been just a very swampy, covered in vines Washington creature. So I've never really attributed like good intentions to him.
Dirk says, I chose yes. He is sympathetic, elderly, and has a poor memory. And in his mind, I think he means well. In a way, it's sad how he's being handled by those around him. Duck says, elderly and poor memory, yes. Well-meaning, no. Evil, cunning, and milking the taxpayers for half a century, definitely. Ripper says, I had to answer no. He's not well-meaning. He's not elderly. He's older than dirt. Brad, what do you think? Yes or no?
I think Joe Biden is an angry, selfish, elderly man with dementia.
Is that a no?
That's a no. I don't have any sympathy for him. And like I go back and I watch the way he was in the campaign and stuff like that. He's doing everything he can to hang on to that keep that angry man under the covers. Like, do you remember he was talking to that one guy that was challenging him and he grabbed him by the lapels and pointed at him?
I don't work for you.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, and then he went after the union workers with the hard hats on. He turned around and said, listen, fat. Oh, caught myself.
Remember when he was challenging people to push-ups on the campaign trail? It was weird. Robert said, voted no. He's a puppet, and his handlers picked him for that reason. And Quick Rick says, Biden, I think you're confusing him with me. Rick. So you're a no?
I'm a no.
Ryan, you're a no?
I'm a no.
I'm a no. I don't think he's well-meaning. I think his true colors are showing more than they've ever shown before, which I think is natural at an aging point in your life. You give less Fs than you've ever given before. You have less filters, less reason to filter, and I don't think he's sympathetic. When he offers sympathy to other people, he talks about himself.
Yeah.
That's not sympathy. That's selfish. Well-meaning, I don't see anything that he's doing for the country right now that I actually think he intentionally thinks is best for the country. I think he thinks it's best for his party and for his retention of power. Elderly man with a poor memory, I'll allow it. But on the whole, a no. With almost 250 votes today, 90% of people say no.
That doesn't surprise me. I thought this would be a no.
I had no idea how this was going to go. And if he's not a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, should he be charged with the crimes that were outlined in the Her report that they said you couldn't get a conviction of because that's how people would perceive him? Robert Herr said today that a juror could absolutely look at the evidence and come to the conclusion that he was guilty. That's what he said in his testimony, but he didn't think he could get the whole jury. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, your home for conservative talk. In just a few minutes. Don't go away.
Let's listen in on a modern-day marriage proposal. The players lift their smartphones. The young man pledges his true love to the woman of his dreams. She accepts. They exchange kissing emojis. There are some hearts. Very nice. Well, look at this. He's putting his phone down. I don't believe it. He's got a box from Diamonds Direct. Well, now she puts her phone down. Oh, unbelievable. That, folks, shows how special a diamond from Diamonds Direct is. Two people have put their phones down. He slips the Diamonds Direct diamond on her finger. She kisses him. Human contact, ladies and gentlemen. Who knew a Diamonds Direct diamond was capable of revolutionizing the virtual universe? And look at this. Her phone is ringing and she's still looking at her Diamonds Direct diamond. Oh, what's next? Tweets from actual birds? Amazing things really do happen when you give her a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Come in today and see how we can help you download real emotion. Details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Your love, our passion.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group are having another free seminar for you. I'll be there at 6 o'clock. The event starts at 6:30, and I'd love to meet you. You want to come join us? It's a free event, and it's helping you learn how to protect your retirement and doing so with the power of the Retirement Advisory Group. Here are the details of the event, and you do have to reserve your seat. Although it's free, we just want to make sure we've got room for everyone. It is Tuesday, March 26th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Seats are limited, so you can go online to retirementkey.com and reserve your spot right now. You can also call them at 314-993-9494.
314-993-9494. The event starts Tuesday, March 26th at 6:30 p.m. I will be there from about 6 o'clock to 6:30. We'll get you started. Then we head out and hand you over to Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw for about 45 minutes or so, maybe not even, of information that will help you protect your retirement. 314-993-9494 to reserve. Also online at retirementkey.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Congress must act. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That message from the